you're watching the Top 6 Show, the original multi-club fan channel. Make sure you're following us now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below. Welcome back to the Top 6. Brilliant panel tonight. Lots to delve into. City's treble, will it happen? We're taking a look at some big transfer stories. 90 million Declan Rice. Lautaro Martinez to Chelsea is now being reported as on as well. Plus, big breaking news surrounding Man United's potential takeover. The Premier League want to investigate. They want to investigate the Qatari money because they are scared. And the president, Mr. Al Khalifi himself of PSG, he's also the president, I think, of the BN Media Group, Qatar Sports Investment, and many other things. He's reportedly in the middle of the negotiations. Just randomly, they've gone and found another Qatari and said, can you help us? We all know why that's going on. We're going to delve into that and much, much more on the show today. Kaz Flawless back in Man United. How are you both, gents?
Hey, bless, man. I'm good. Big up for having me.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Good. A man like Don's here, repping Chelsea, although he was at the West Ham parade yesterday. I did see you. I see you there, bro. I see you at that parade. A man like Mo's here, I assume, taking his mind off the annihilation that they're going to be dealt to them tomorrow night in that Champions League final when they get battered by City. Battered like an Ian Bill codfish is what I heard is what's going to happen, bro. Proper battered. We'll delve into that later on in the show. Viewers, make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you're subscribing as well. But we have to start, boys. We have to start with the Man United takeover. Again, yesterday it was reported Qatar made a 5th bid. It was significant. But if they didn't get the club, they were going to walk away. That's now been debunked, as we all said it would be. So they're like, no, we're just going to keep bidding until there's enough. Now it transpires, according to Ornstein. And Ornstein tweeting about things always makes people believe it's close to happening or going to happen. He has stated the Glazers have now got Al Khalifi, the president of PSG, involved to help negotiate the situation. That's triggered the Premier League clubs. They want a full and thorough investigation to make sure any money coming to Man United isn't state funded, which is practically impossible in Gulf states. The money's always connected to the government in one way, shape, or form. But boys, positive news? No news? How do you feel about this? I'll go Flawless first on this one.
I just want it to come to a close and a conclusion. Every single day I wake up, there's some new news, new information. Whether it's Sheikh Jassim's a preferred bidder, whether it's Jim Ratcliffe. Now we've got, who did you say was who have they got negotiating the deal? Who's the middleman now?
Al Khalifi, the main guy in terms of the boardroom at Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay, so he's been brought in by the Glazers to negotiate the deal with Sheikh Jassim. So it's like, hopefully it helps. You know what I'm saying? Because I would prefer Sheikh Jassim and the Qatar and Sheikh Jassim to be the owner of Manchester United. So yeah, I'm just at the point where it's like I want it to come to some form of a close. I was hoping that the news yesterday was true in regards to Sheikh Jassim saying, right, this is the final bid. Either take it, there'll be no negotiations after this. Because one thing that's concerning with this is, and maybe you can tell me, Terry, as well, I've not seen any reports of evaluation from the Glazers. It's not like they've said we want 6, 7, 8 billion. It all seems like from the reports, the tactics is try to get as much money as possible from Sheikh Jassim, rather than just say we want 6 billion, we want 7 billion, or whatever that amount may be.
Yeah, it's all very open. The media are saying 6 billion. But then whenever the same media will say that the Sheikhs bid 5 billion, but the press in the Middle East will say, no, it's not, it's over 6. So there's so much misinformation, not misinformation as such. What I think really stands out to me is why bring Al Khalifi in? Now, whether it's right or wrong, at the end of the day, when it comes to the owners of Newcastle, the potential owners of Man United, someone's in the arm of their mic. Who's doing that? That's you, Mo. It's really loud.
It was a bid, man.
Yeah, I wonder what it was. So essentially, there'll be a front, whoever it is, a group and a body that will be the owners or the people running it. But the media will never say this because they don't want to be done for being liable. But essentially, we all know when you peep through the veil, these clubs are state-owned. Whether people like hearing it or not, they won't be directly state-owned, but it'll be done for a mechanism.
They'll have like a representative.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I think everybody's very aware of this, but there's a way of circumventing that, and that's what's going to happen. That's why I've said all along.
Yeah,
Go
go
on.
on. Sorry, Terry. Go on.
Go on, mate. Go on, mate. Jump in.
I was gonna say, like, any Man United fans or rivals looking to pinpoint, I think it's important, right, to look at what's actually being said in writing rather than jump into the conclusion, because there's some key words in there, like from David Ornstein. It is believed that Ineos feel that they are the preferred bidder. Of course, they're gonna think they're gonna be the preferred bidder, right? And all that kind of stuff. Like, and then people say, "Oh, they must be the preferred bidder." And then you got this donut on this Qatari FC guy. He's an ITK or whatever he wants to be, and says, "I told you so." Da, 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 da. No, you ain't done nothing, mate. Like, you're just as bad as the English media trying to spin it onto one point. Like, all these guys, I only look towards one person, Terry, and that's Mike Keegan, because he's the one to report it first. He's the one's always on top of the news, and then if anyone watches his Q&As and stuff like that, even he says no one knows. Like, people got questions, but he says no one knows because there's NDAs in there. There's non-disclosure agreements.
110%, bro.
So that's the way I look at it, and I think I'm on the same page as probably yourself. I'm flawless. It's like, I'm tired of this saga, and I'm kind of glad that now there's a point where, you know, where Premier League clubs are asking to be investigated, whether that's true or false. That means something's being done in my eyes, rather than the same stuff all over and over again. Fifth bid, fourth bid. Like, if they really wanted Jim Ratcliffe's services to take over Man United, they would have accepted that time ago, because he hasn't put no improved bidders or nothing like that. If they really wanted 69% and then a total control of the 31%, they would have accepted it ages ago, because it's so perfect, right? Because it's like Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in my eyes, only from my opinion, is that he's literally being used to draw up as much money from the Qataris, because I think even Ratcliffe might know himself, or Ineos or anyone like that. You can't compete with an Arab with all that money at the end of the day.
This is the thing. I'm personally not tired of it. I love it. I love a transfer process. I love sales processes. It's my career was involved in them. I love it. I've probably been most United content creators, most cool, calm, and collected when it's come to every other Friday. It's negative news, and so Jim's coming in. He's going to ruin the club and blah, blah, blah. Then the following weekend, it will be Qatari money, bad money. Qatari money, bad money. Jim money, good money. And we should be going down that kind of route. And I've just been laughing at it all every single time I've heard it. Both will improve Man United. The Qataris will do a better job, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, whoever is the name on the paper that's going to run the club, we're going to be state-backed. That's why El Khalifi's involved. Because just think about this for a moment, right? If there's really separate parties and separate bodies altogether, why go to El Khalifi about this? Like, you don't need him to translate. They speak English. You don't need him involved. It's like me going, right, I'm doing a business deal with an Egyptian, so I'm going to ring up Mo, because Mo's Egyptian. He'll be able to help me. It's mad. You don't do that. You don't do it. Why would think about this deeply, right? Why would El Khalifi help Qataris buy a club that's competing with PSG and will make us... By the way, we'll be able to blow PSG out the water financially with what we have and the money that's coming in. The reason that Khalifi's getting involved is because in the cold, hard light of day, Qatar, the country, are going to try and buy Manchester United, and we will become the signature and principal football icon of their nation, not PSG. So that's why he's been brought in. Doesn't mean it's going to go their way. It could still go to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But for me, this is really positive news. And the fact David Ornstein spoke in such detail about it, the fact Premier League teams are scared, they want it investigated. Well, great. Good luck with that. You really think with the lawyers these people can afford, they're not going to set it up in a way that circumvents every single loophole in the league, the same way Newcastle did and everybody else. Like, there's going to be no concerns around an investigation. And the money that will come in, it will just be the same way that Newcastle and City are doing it. There'll be massive sponsors from Qatar, airlines and hotels, and United will probably be sponsored by Visit Qatar to advertise holidays. By the way, a brilliant place to go on holiday. I went there for the World Cup, amazing country to go to. And yeah, and I'm loving the fact that other rivals are, and I'm sure, by the way, that the Newcastle and City owners are not part of that process of investigating it. Why would they be? It'll be the other sort of 17 clubs that are doing it, and it's a beautiful thing for me. It's a beautiful thing. I hope we get the Qataris, and yeah, more
power. I interject there as well, right? Look, I don't care about how much money that Qatar have or how much money they can invest or anything like that. It's just about running the club correct. That's all I care about. And when you hear Glazers involved, no one wants to hear that. That's why you're against Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Otherwise, if there wasn't, I'd probably be for it, if I'm being totally honest. It's just how much money can you really care for the club? By the end of the day, as well, remember, this is the Altani family. Who said it's going to be all lights and glooms, right? So why I say that? If I'm correct, the Altani family own Malaga over in Spain, and look how crap that's run, And then you have to put your reservations on that. And it's the same way. Look at Sir Ratcliffe, the way he's running Nice. Rubbish. You're about to sell one of your best assets over to Liverpool Football Club potentially. And this is what I mean. Like, you have to weigh up both options and what brown envelope is going to be the best one for Man United. And that's where that's all I care about is running. That's the only point I care about is how are you going to run the club and how are you going to benefit the area around Trafford and Salford, the surrounding areas. So the Altani family do own Malaga. Go check it yourself. I checked it out.
I did not know that. Well, I think you mentioned it there into Jim Ratcliffe. My biggest issue with him is that he's willing to allow the Glazers to stay within his deal. That's what that is. That goes to show, yeah, you definitely don't have the club's best interest at heart. If you run it badly, but you have the club's best interest at heart, that can happen. Things go wrong. Like, it's not easy running a football club successfully at the highest level. But look at how bad the Glazers have ran Manchester United. Look at it. You can watch it. You can see it. This is all public knowledge. But yet you're willing to allow them to stay, to allow you to be in charge. Like, that lets me know that's why I don't want you in charge. That's
exactly.
I hear you 110% on that. I get it. That's why I want them to come in. So a few people in the comments who I recognize are saying, yes, but sports washing. But none of you are talking about sports washing. None of you will be talking about sports washing in 28 hours time. If City do the treble, you'll be going, ha, 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 they've surpassed your treble. Sports washing tomorrow night, the British media won't care about it. It will be an onslaught to attack Man United with how good Man City are. People pick and choose when they care about it. So that's why, for me, you either care every day or you never care. You can't pick and choose when to virtue signal and pretend you're a great and lovely and nice person every day or never at all. And if you banter Man United for what City are doing, and then in the very next breath say sports washing is killing the game, you're a hypocrite and your opinions hold zero water at all. And it's like all the journalists that are criticizing Qatar coming in. They'll be praising City tomorrow night. They'll be sitting there in the stadium, all expenses paid by UEFA, sitting there praising the football, what a wonderful job they've done, and more power to them. They won't be talking about sports washing in that environment there. They won't. But then when you might get taken over by Qatar, they will. The hypocrisy stinks. It stinks like morning breath, bruv. It's morning breath with coffee. Mix them two together. Vile.
It's not money's never a thing, man. Money, everyone's got money. Daniel Levy's got money. He's got the most cash reserves as well, like as Sean would point out. And then it's like Arsenal got so many billions, they're pumping in money the way they should have been doing years ago. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest, we're all jealous of Man City. It's all jealousy. Like, we wish we was running like Man City at the end of the day because they've done it correct with minimal money, minimal spent as well, if you actually really deep in it.
So you are, but the media aren't. So the media, the English media aren't, Cass. The English media... Just call it as it is. The English, every time I'm listening to a podcast, everybody's talking about one thing, Cass, which is why we're allowing state-owned clubs. Why they don't want Newcastle publicly. They don't want Newcastle to succeed. They hate that Man City are a successful club. Forget the fans. The fans are maybe a rivalry. But the media, why are the media attacking Qatar while they go and eat their bread during the World Cup? Why now you're attacking Qatar and saying it's not a clean money, Sergio Ratcliffe is a clean money? As an Arab, I feel like, what is this? What is happening here? They are investing in your country. They're investing in the areas around Manchester. I went to Manchester. I went to the Etihad, and I went to that area. And I've been told it has been much better in the last 10 years than before. And Newcastle, people are talking about Newcastle now. So why are people against it? I think it's just their ego. They don't want the state-owned clubs. They don't want to have Arabs coming into the country.
It's because these people, like these owners, actually care about the
community. But they're hypocrites, Cass.
You find where you find the local Western lot, like agree to disagree. They go on like they care about. They go on like they care about the communities in and around, but clearly it's all capitalism, man. That's all it is. It's all about
this is the thing. There is hypocrisy there. I mean, someone's called me out saying, Terry, in your own words, you're a hypocrite. You can't find a video where I condemn ownership from the Middle East. What I have said is if they've cheated the rules of FFP, they should be punished. But that is nothing to do with their nationality, their religion, their skin color, their creed, their sexual orientation. It's nothing to do with their immutables or where they're from. That's to do with breaking the rules of a league. So there is no hypocrisy from me at all. When Newcastle got taken over, I sat on streams and in spaces where everybody was ripping into Saudi Arabia, what they stood for. situations that were going on in the media with the journalists that had passed, that have been murdered. Terry, what do you think of this? And I said, look, the reason I'm not going to condemn it is because one of the biggest reasons was I have no idea who's going to own my club in the future. And if I make a big song and dance now and say Newcastle fans should boycott their club because of these owners, and then I suddenly get an owner from a similar part of the world, am I willing to walk away from my club? The answer is no. Therefore, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. So it's not about agreeing with everything that goes on in every other part of the world. I don't agree with everything that goes on in this country. But if you're going to participate in something, you just keep your mouth shut and you wipe your mouth and you move on for me. Boys, in terms of, there's a few super chats here I want to go to. The first one says, the Arab don't subscribe to Western ideology. It's a way of virtue signaling for the media. It is purity a purity test to show how good they are. I'll be honest with you, I spent a little bit of time out there. There aren't too many differences. Like, I was out there, it was great. We were over there in December. Big supermarket I went to every day. It was called Grand Prix. Sold loads of Christmas decorations and trees and stuff. It was just honestly, when I was over there, I was like, yeah, this ain't like people told me it was. Legitimately. It was great. And me and KJ were also living in the suburbs, so we weren't living in the tourist area. It was just day to day, everyone getting on with their normal life, and it was blessed. Like, that's all I'm going to say to people. It was walking down the street. There was no issues for me. There was no issues for KJ. It was just grand. It was fine. That's it. Simple as. Transfer wise, boys. Mason Mount. Chelsea are demanding £80 million and say they won't budge. Kaz, watch it. Actually, I'm going to go to Don first as a Chelsea fan. Yeah. Is that too much money, in your opinion, for Mason Mount?
That's taking the piss, man. That's
exactly
that's taking the piss, man. Like, in today's market, realistically, I would only pay up to 45, and that's me being friendly for Mason. In all honesty, I think what we're trying to do is we're putting a big price tag so we can meet in the middle and get something. Even if we meet in the middle and get 55, 60, knowing how United are, you normally cash out anyway, because of how you've been run with the Glazers, right? Hence why you guys want them out. So I think the reason why we're slapping that price tag is on Mason is knowing that we're not going to get that much, but it's going to land just in between that, between 60 and 50. Because if we put maybe a 60 million price tag on him or 50 million on him, I don't think we would get that. So that's why, in my opinion, I think we've put that high price tag just to meet in the middle, just to meet below and to get something worth valuing. But in all honesty, Mason's probably worth about 40 million, I would say. 80 million is unbelievable, man. We need to sort that out. We need to negotiate with United, because we need Mason out. He doesn't want to be here. You know, we need to bring in some new signings. We need the money. You guys are going to help us fund Caicedo, so we need that as soon as possible, man. But yeah, 80 million. Nah, if you guys pay that, then you guys need to process or something. In all honesty,
I actually believe it's gonna land in the range of 45 plus 10 add-ons, bonuses and stuff. It's not gonna land with Chelsea think 60 plus bonuses. The difference in valuation is about 30 million, which is a lot of money. And I'm afraid for Chelsea, to be honest, because you have to sell him before the end of June, and we're already approaching the middle of June. I don't know why Chelsea are asking for that much money. I don't think anybody will pay that much money. No English club or foreign club will pay that much money. I'm just afraid now that you're overvaluing Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, and a lot of other players. Even we're hearing Kovacic, and I know Terry will talk about it later. But this is not a way to do business and to clear out your roster.
But I did say
the end of June.
Mo, just quickly, what made you say that they have to sell him by the end of June? What makes you say that?
Because I think the FFP for the end of the year ends in June, so they will have to.
All right,
so that year ends. That financial year ends at the end of June.
Okay.
And if you think he's come straight through our academy as well, so that's straight profit because we didn't have to buy it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's straight profit on the books. One thing that I'll say, because I've come on these shows so many times, and one thing I did say is our most valuable assets are Gallagher and Mason Mount. These are the two players that we're going to dilly-dally about, because I did not see Real Madrid coming in for a player like Havertz. I thought we'd be stuck with him because the wages, and again, he's been underperforming. He hasn't been great since he's been here. So I didn't even put him on the chopping block because realistically, I just didn't see anyone coming in for him. So I'm not surprised that we're going back and forth and trying to get the best price possible, because Mason is our best valued asset right now, in all honesty. But I don't agree with it. I hope that we can meet in the middle and get that sorted ASAP, because
I don't.
I'm bored of it now. I'm just bored
Is
of
it
a
actually
saga.
back and forth? That's what I want to ask people. Maybe you guys know more.
No, when I say
back and forth.
when I say back and forth, I'm talking about Chelsea and Mason going back and forth, trying to sort out
Ah,
contract.
okay. So it's
And
not
now
Man
we've
United and
entered-
Chelsea then.
No,
Man United and
it's
Chelsea
not Man
aren't
United
in
and
direct
Chelsea.
negotiation, because the last article I read yesterday evening is that the valuation are so different that Man United is saying, okay, until you go down a little bit close to what we are willing to pay, we're not even negotiating. 80 million for the 55, because Man United, I think they value him as 40 plus 10 add-ons, and they are willing to go up to 45. Me and Cass talked about this earlier.
I think there's one report that I think Man United will push for shove 55 tops, I'd say, and
including bonuses, right?
Including bonuses.
Man United, look at their history. They're used to overpaying for players. I know we overpay for players as well, but Man United, when Man United are interested in your player, you know you're going to hit the belly. You know you're going to get the bag from them, right? So, in all honesty, right? If Ten Hag,
I've not heard that in a minute. I love that phrase.
Listen, going to hit the belly, man. So, like, listen, if Ten Hag wants Mason Mount, and again he's made it very clear that he wants to leave his accepted terms, I think Man United are going to cough up the money that's needed to meet in the middle. That's why I think we're overvaluing Mason. I don't think we're going to get that 80 million. I think it'll be 55, maybe 50 max. But I think we're going to get it from United. It'll be very silly to keep driving for that price, because if you walk away, Liverpool, have they got that sort of money? No. So Man United are our best option to get rid of him.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. I don't know about you, Flawless, but I know we're going to do revisionism to Man United of last year and then the seasons before that. And what I like about Man United of last year, yes, we overpaid for Anthony, I'd say. Out of all the players that we got, of course, it's because we were desperate. I don't think we're in this case, I don't think we're desperate for Mason Mount, unless we're trying to hit the homegrown quota, which has been, I think, might be the case of why we want Mason Mount out of anything else, because all the other, let's say the homegrown players are probably not adequate enough to be represented at Man United at any time soon, because we're about to get rid of maybe 3 to 5 homegrown players. I just don't think it's going to be the case. And why I say this, I think it's quite evident with Chelsea and this new regime of yours. You tried to tussle with Real Madrid for 52 million for Kai Havertz. And this is why I go back to this part. It's because 52 million, and they didn't stop there. You wanted add-ons as well. You're trying to get back most of your fee that you pay for Havertz in this day and age of how many great performances. That I don't think this guy scored more than 20 goals in the time he's been at Chelsea, to be fair. And I just think your board is quite weak, in my opinion, with this negotiation stuff without Todd Bowley trying to be involved with all of it. I've seen online as well, when I say online through Twitter and obviously the Chelsea feed, my cousin, I won't say who it is one of the biggest Chelsea accounts going at the moment. But even he's saying he's like overrated, like he's gone overboard trying to say you got to sack the negotiator, because how can you be doing this? I don't know. You're saying that you won't go above 70 million. I don't think Man United are going to be foolish enough right now with the budget that we have to be pulling out 60 million even for Mason Mount. Sorry. So that's what I just disagree and think.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But one thing that I will say is that since Ten Hag has been here, he's been backed to an extent. With in the summer, the players that he wanted. So Anthony, he got him in. Malacia, he got him in. So he has been backed with the players that he's wanted. So if he's saying to the board, I want Mason, I feel that he'll be perfect for my system. He'll be good in our squad. You're going to meet in the middle, especially if Mason wants to move. As much as I know you hope he does, from what I'm seeing, it looks like you don't want Mason at the club, right? You don't want him at United. I know you're hoping that he doesn't join United, but if your manager wants him, he's gonna get him. All right, he's gonna get him, bro.
If we pay more than I kind of like Mount-ish, but he reminds me of Bruno 2.0, and
he's a diluted version of Bruno. That's what I described him as.
If John Murto pays 55 million plus for him, he needs to get sacked.
I think we're going to meet in the middle. It's all part of negotiations. The window ain't even open yet, Kaz. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm seeing McAllister go for 35 million. I'm seeing Kefram Turan for 35 million. I'm seeing Quadio Kone 30 millions. And yet you want to pay 60, 70 million for an overrated English player. No
yeah,
chance.
But Ben Jacobs explained that situation.
I won't say on here because I know he comes on here and I won't disrespect it on the channel, but everyone knows my thoughts on Ben Jacobs, and that's what
Terry will explain it in a bit more detail about McAllister and why he was 35 million. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but Mason,
because it was a buyout.
Why are we only looking at guys?
It was a release clause, wasn't it?
It's like, why was Haaland only 60 million? Because there was a buyout clause.
Same thing as Kante as well.
It's like McAllister's deal is not a benchmark. There was a buyout clause. It was a mistake from Brighton. They undervalued him. They put a buyout clause in his contract, and he got him cheap. That's it. He won't be seen as a benchmark. He won't. The reason why Mason Mount, listen, I think Man United will get him a lot cheaper than 80 million. But the one thing that Mason Mount has, people, it's English tax exists because there's a certain quota of homegrown players you have to have in your team, and Man United are getting rid of a lot of homegrown players this summer. So it's one of the reasons why City all those years ago got Delph go to their club. They didn't want Delph, but they have to keep the quota up, otherwise they're not allowed to play certain players in games. So I think Mason Mount will command maybe a little bit more because of that, but I think we'll meet somewhere like around 50-55 million pounds.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think this will get done.
Yeah, 50-55 million is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, let's cut the shit and just call it what it is. Like for real. Even Mason Mount playing well with 4 or 5 years left on his deal at 55 million is too much. Never mind the Mason Mount who doesn't get into Chelsea's first team and they finished 12th. Number 2 has 1 year left on his deal. Number 3, Chelsea don't want to keep him. And 4, he doesn't want to be there.
We do actually want to keep him. We do want to keep him.
All right, but you want to keep. But all right, I'll go one further. Then you don't want to pay him the money because you don't think he's worth it.
Well, there's ins and outs. There's politics.
Flawless. Exactly, put it the right way.
Like, let's cut it. Like, I'm tired of this. This Mason Mount deal for Manchester United is an awful deal. Minus the quota, there is 0 positives to this deal whatsoever. 0 positives. Even off the pitch, it's not even like Mason Mount. You can say he's a big name and he's a brand, and it's going to be a lot of shirts. Never mind our team needing major surgery as it is. Do I personally believe he improves our first team? No. If he does, I'm not going to argue you down. It's marginal. So why are we spending all this money on someone who arguably, and it's marginal? Go look at his numbers. This man excels at nothing. He excels at nothing on the football pitch. He has 9 open play assists in his entire career. Like, what are we doing here? It's an awful situation. It's an awful deal. I hate Manchester United trying to fill the quota. Cool, but go and buy better. Go and get it, because when we're linked with a Harry Kane or we're linked with a Declan Rice, they're both English. Nobody don't mention no quota. That shows you the level of Mason
Flawless.
What will say Flawless?
Let me just ask Flawless one thing. I'm sorry. Flawless, you talked about the quota, but what about your manager wanting the player? Why you never talked about that? Doesn't that play a factor?
Yeah, no,
I think it does. I think it does big time.
And I respond to that. 110% it plays a factor, but Sir Alex Ferguson is the best manager I've ever seen. To me, he's the GOAT. I doubted him at times. So who's Ten Hag to that? And he got things wrong. Same way we watch Pep, who everyone's waxing lyrical about now. Not every player at Manchester City he signed hit. So I back the manager. I'm fully Ten Hag. Fully back him 110%. But I can disagree with certain decisions. This Mount thing, I am not with. I have no issue with the profile of Mount. That's what people get mistaken. If you want to go that route and go more energy off the ball, I don't even think he's athletic, but just more energy, pressing, more legs. Cool. Go get the best possible profile. That is not Mason Mount. If us 6 sit here right now and put together a team to go and win the Premier League, and we can pick from all the players, Mason Mount doesn't even enter the conversation.
One thing that I would say, Flawless. One thing that I would say, I hear what you're saying, right? Because if this was me, I would have the same. I would have the same sort of views if I wasn't a Chelsea fan and if I supported United and Mason Mount was being touted as coming into my club, right? But one thing that I would say is that with Mason, the trajectory that he was going on when he first broke through, even on loan at Vitesse, I think it was player this season. He got the most goals that season, I believe, as well. When he was at Derby, he had a good loan, and he broke through when we had that transfer ban. He was one of our players that was pushing to, starting every week and doing quite well in that team. He's had an off season and he hasn't been great for England as well. But one thing that I'll say is with Ten Hag, he can definitely rejuvenate his career. He's done that already with players like Wan-Bissaka. He can squeeze a lot out of him because he's not a dead player. Like people that say Mason Mount's a bad player are just wrong. He's not a bad player. He's a good player. One thing that I'll say is don't overly criticize it until the end of the window. If you don't get more quality around him, if he's your marquee signing and he's going to be starting week in, week out, listen, I don't know what Ten Hag sees in him as a starter to be playing with Bruno. I just don't see it. But if he's an addition to bringing in more players around him that are of quality and Mason can come in some games, then it makes sense. But for now, I think he's definitely a good addition in Ten Hag's system. I think he'll do well at United, but not as a starter. As a starter.
But again, you said it there. Even at the best, you're saying does well. I want better than well. You know what I'm saying? When named Manchester United teams in the past, where it's like, the majority of the players have just done well. Like the bar needs to be high. Even Mason Mount, yes, he has had an off season. Even Mason Mount in his very best seasons for Chelsea was very good. That
Yeah,
was
but
his
flawless.
signature.
You're always gonna
Bro.
have a little drop off in quality when you've got your starting 11 and the players are on the bench. And he's
So,
definitely an upgrade on your Scott and your Freds. I know he hasn't been great this
hey,
season,
Dom, I think
but
you're
he's
an
definitely
upgrade.
he's an
Do you
upgrade
play?
on that.
Do you play ball? I'm
Yeah,
backing
yeah,
you're an
yeah,
upgrade
yeah.
on them, man. I can go 5 aside there. Me, I get upgrade on McTominay and Fred. The bar. This is the point I'm making.
Yeah,
I'm going over the top to prove a point, but the bar is
yeah.
on the floor. So when people say, "Oh, they're upgrade on your squad," get any half decent midfielder is an upgrade on our squad.
What it is,
Like,
it's not
that's
an
not the
exciting
bar.
signing. It's not an exciting
It's not
signing, but
about
you
being
just have to.
exciting. I have an issue with the
Mm,
quality. I just
It's a
don't like
depressing
it's the
signing,
quality
guys.
thing.
Guys, it's a depressing. It's not exciting. It's a
Yes.
depressing. I
Yeah, it
have
is.
not seen one Man United fan happy about this signing. Not one. I give me
Because we
one
know,
guy that
because
thinks this guy is worth more than they
you know
think
what it
this
is?
guy 40 million is too much for him because they think he's gonna come in and hold bench.
I don't think 40 million is a bad shout. 40 million is a great shout if you've got other midfielders already. Does that make sense? Like Man United are linked with Kim Min-jae, and then second on the shortlist is Alex Disasi, right? Disasi. And I think that's great. You hear about Kolo Muani and Højlund being potential two strikers for Manchester. That's amazing. Profiles that we lack, right? And then you look towards the midfield, and there's obviously Diogo Costa and that situation there, and the players going out. But then you look at the midfield, and you hear what Ten Hag wants. And you know what options we get? You get Mason Mount and Rabiot. And I'm thinking,
Okay,
how on God's green earth do you come up with those two as solutions to why we get dominated in games and how we're going to go to an away game and sit back and hopefully provide a little bit of energy? You said Fred there. You said Fred is not great on Fred. No, I don't think so. Why I say that is because at least the way it's your opinion for opinion, but I just feel like with Man United this season as well, Fred's probably best ever season, right? Especially with stats and everything as well. However you want to look at it, next to Casemiro, he makes sense because at least he in that 8 role, Fred can go and win the ball higher up the pitch, and he can be defensively solid and so forth. And I'm not saying he's the greatest, but with Mason Mount, he's not exactly the greatest defensively. He's not his game, and he'll be further up looking kind of clueless like Bruno in a 10 role because they'll probably be occupying the same sort of spaces, in my opinion. So, but I was just going to say, like, the profile Man United want is so clear as day to see. Look, we're seeing Kovacic go to Man City. We praise how great Kovacic is for Man City now because he's going to go work under Pep. But under Man United, when I was saying I wanted Kovacic from Chelsea if I had to choose a midfielder, nah, it won't work. He's injury prone, this, that, and the other. And he's exactly the profile we need because we don't have a ball carrier. Someone to pick it up from the defense or the goalkeeper, so forth, yada, 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 and then get you up the pitch and as I said, keep the ball.
Yeah, but
and
Kaz, with I get what you're saying with Cover ball carrying, but if you want quality in that final third, Cover's not that guy.
Neither is Mason. I'm not asking for that because it's not about creating chances for Manchester United. For me, it's about putting them away, right? And yes, we could do better in terms of creation, but in terms of actually getting up the pitch, Man United are so far back. Sorry, Terry. So far back we're so far back, right? When it comes to play, because we've got De Gea and so forth, and not adequate enough centre mids, it's affecting us. So that's why we take so long in transition. It's not smooth in transition at the moment. It's uncontrollable.
I hear where you're coming from there. I want to go to some of these super chats here. First one says, "I haven't. If it's not about this subject, we'll save your super chats to a relevant time of the show so we can stay kind of on point." This is here says, "I know now. I know why he's called Sarcasm TV. Man thinks he's shopping at Dollar General in an era where Gordon is 45 million. Brother, go outside."
What's Dollar General?
I don't. It must be a store in America.
It must be like a pound shop. Must be like a pound shop. Like a pound shop.
Yeah.
It must be like a pound shop.
Better. Like, what do you mean? Like Mason Mount? I don't know who you support, but Mason Mount is a terrible idea, and no one's gonna convince me less. There's a reason Chelsea fans are the ones putting him in United shirts. There's a reason for that.
As a player, or why would I not play in the Saudi league? I would be paid a lot more. There would be less stress, media pressure on performances, less injuries due to less intensity. I'll give you a reason why, because you could win the league there every year, be the top goal scorer every year, and it would never create you a legacy within football. And money is very important to footballers, and it should be, but legacy in the game also matters. So there's multiple reasons. But anyone who's angry at what Saudi are doing for footballers, yeah, again, that's another weird one for me. Clubs should just leave Chelsea with 45 players. Just leave them with that's actually quite a good tactic. This is Kaz. City did it the right way. Seriously, wow. is what Liverpool fan here
Well,
says.
I think they did. Like, you're only going to base off assumptions of what they potentially have done. And if that comes to light, then I'm wrong. And I'll say to LFC that, you know what, hold my hands up. I was wrong. They didn't do it the right way. Clearly not. You can hit me with like this. It's called post box or post office or whatever the hell it is. The grass being short. By the end of the day, they've set up different clubs in different regions of the world and they're doing everything correct in that way. And it's not like they pump loads and loads of money, because if you go look at how much money is spent between each clubs, you'd be very, very surprised. In my opinion, it's not like Liverpool have done everything correct, isn't it? Because you like literally you stole data from Man City. You've done stuff as well. You're not the only clean club, you know, like everyone's done something in the Premier League that's bad one way or another. It just hasn't been found out yet. That's all I say.
There we go. Honestly, I don't want United back. I need them as sloppy as Zion,
That
right?
guy for NBA, innit? He's doing madness.
I don't watch it. Also, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been on a Mazza off the court, but yeah.
Still better the Red Devil. You don't know in this case. I hear what you're cut. Yeah. I mean, in this case, yes, I agree with you completely. This says, to be honest, if anyone surprised that PSG owner is involved with this, the Saudis and Qatar are stepping up their game. It is scary to think that players want that sweet oil money. I don't think it's scary. It's just money. I mean, we all put that oil in our cars and drive around, don't we? Do you know what I mean? It's so evil. When I'm driving to work and taking my kids out. Yeah, I think that every time I put it in my car, I think, oh, evil. It's evil going in my car. That's what I think. Do you know what I mean? I have an issue. We'll go back to the Arsenal ones in a minute and the ones about Milan a little bit later as well when we're on those subjects. I wanted to mention another signing that I think a lot of people are interested in this summer, but Chelsea have officially opened talks with Leicester for a deal for James Maddison. It's now down to whether or not he wants European football or not. How good a piece of business could that be for Tottenham? And should some of the bigger teams be looking at James Maddison, in your opinions?
I would take him.
100%. What a fantastic player, of course. Absolutely a fantastic player. Look at his numbers and also performances. I believe my eyes. Every time I'm watching this guy, he's magic on the ball in a terrible Leicester City team. I love the guy. I think he's a class player. I think in the right environment, he can produce even more than what he produced at Leicester. I think he is one of the bright, shining stars in this team, and I think Newcastle are looking at him. And I'm not sure why Man United are not looking at James Maddison and just looking at Mason Mount. The same price, English players, both English internationals. One of them is more technical than the other. One of them is more achieved more in his career. I think
Maddison's just better than Mount. He's better than Mount. But what I will say is that Maddison's got a terrible injury record. That is the only downside. Maybe that's why they're not really looking at him.
That's why nobody's gonna buy Mount. That's why nobody's gonna buy Mount. You're trying so hard to convince people with Mount that makes people don't want to buy Mason Mount.
Listen, if it was up to me, I would keep Mount. But
what I'll say about the Maddison thing is his injury record is not as bad as people make out. Go look at his appearance record. Go look at his appearances in the Premier League for Leicester. It's all 30, 32 plus.
Have you done appearances to minutes?
I've not done appearances to minutes, but yo,
He only played. It's only this year, flawless. It's only this year where he missed 12 games. Last year he played 34 games. The year before played 34 games. He has been playing.
Quality. These are quality players.
This year played 30, 35, 31, 31.
Hang on. I think what people would say is that since the year 2001, he's had 6 knee injuries on the same knee. There is a worry that could go. That could go at any minute. You know, 6 injuries on one knee in 2 years is a lot. Now he's missed, and where he's been and the longest time out he's had with a knee injury is 50 days. So that was his hip injuries. His knee injuries have all been a week, 5 days, 6 days. One was 24 days. That's my only concern. But yeah, I don't think he's got this. He's not like Neymar that starts on average 16 games a season. That's a proper chronic injury issue. He's not kind of there, but yeah.
I can see why Man United don't want him. I can see why Man United don't want him. I can see why we don't want him. With Ten Hag anyways, if I'm trying to put my mind frame into Ten Hag's mind frame, is thinking what's Man United lacked this year is probably reliability from some players, Martial, and so forth, others, and maybe you might have some concerns that Maddison, when needed, he won't be available. Maybe potentially, I don't know. That's all I can think of.
Man United also have a better number 10 in Bruno Fernandes. So what's the point of Mason? What's the point?
Unless you think it's off the ball. Do you think off the ball, Maddison doesn't really offer you as much as what Mason would off the ball?
Yeah, he's a bit like
No,
Tielemans, isn't it?
Nah, forget
Work
this
rate's
off the ball. Combine the two. When we combine the two, Maddison offers more off the ball than Mount, and on the ball, it's not even close. They're in different ballparks, and he offers much more
Maddison
on
off
the
the
ball.
ball. I don't know if he offers more than Mount. In all honesty, on the ball, 100%, he's a
What we
lot better.
saying, minus
A lot
running.
more.
Hold on. So can I
We
ask?
should say, we're
guys,
just saying running. I'm
can I-
talking like
can
in
I just say
movement and intelligence. Like,
Okay,
we
You
just
guys
saying
are,
running.
you guys are all talking about Mason Mount being in the club, not as a starter. There has to be better midfielders around him, and so because you're going to be in 4 competitions next year, why not the same energy for Maddison? If it's 45 million for Maddison, Bruno doesn't have to play every single game.
I
And
think
maybe
he's
this
be-
guy
I think he's better than
offers
Bruno. I'm
he
taking him
offers
over
an
Bruno.
option off the
He's
bench
not.
if you're behind.
He's better than he is, man. He is
No,
Terry.
No, I don't think
Also,
so.
there's another- there's
100%.
another-
I don't think so.
You think better than Bruno?
I feel like there's another.
On
I feel like there's-
the ball, what does Bruno do better than Mason Mount? Fucking James Maddison, sorry.
Maddison is better on the ball. I'll be real with you. He's better on the ball
110%
than
better
Bruno.
on the
He
ball.
is better on the ball than
He
Bruno.
looks better. He looks better on the ball, but that doesn't mean that he is.
Nah,
out
not
in-
aesthetically. All right, so if we go at you, so what is Bruno
Flawless.
better at
Bruno
on the ball
Fernandes
than
is
him?
very effective. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to look good. Great. We're
Again,
not playing
I never
5
Yeah,
said
as
but
Bruno-
9.
yeah, but
I
when
never-
it comes to Maddison, right, he's a lot
I
more
never
press
said
resistant.
aesthetics.
He's
I
a lot.
just asked for the actual things. I never said aesthetics and what it looks like. I'm talking about actual.
With
Yeah,
Maddison, he's a little bit more silky. Like he's a silkier player. He can get out of tight positions. He's a little bit more press
Work
resistant than
ethics,
Bruno.
Don.
I would
Work
say.
ethics on the pitch, way
but that's
better
off-
than
that's
James
off- that's
Maddison.
off the ball.
Way better
That's
than
off the ball.
Madison.
That's, again,
That's what
off the
I mean.
ball. We
That's
said
off the ball.
in
I'm
particular.
describing him on the ball in comparison to Bruno. I think he's a better player on the ball than Bruno.
Miles better.
A lot better than
clearly-
Bruno.
Well, clearly, Ten Hag wants a player that's he wants a hard-working midfield. I wouldn't class Maddison as a hard-working type player because
Yeah, he's
I'm
not.
a bet.
he
I'm
needs
a
to be.
That's
So,
why, Kaz. Go on, carry on, bro.
I was just gonna
I'm
say
a
as
bad
well,
guy.
like I don't really see Maddison performing great in the 8, but as soon as he's got that place in the 10 in the hole where he's most comfortable, then yeah, Bruno hasn't really played 10 this year. He's played more right on an 8 as a number 8. Otherwise, if not, he's been shifted to the right midfield or left just to cover. But when he has played, if you look at his position, he's typically on the right hand side near Anthony. We don't play with a 10, and I believe that's why he might look at Mason Mount and think because he wants to go maybe towards a 4-3-3 potentially. Like if it was up to me, if I had to compete for a place, I'm thinking like I would be choosing Maddison to compete. Doesn't mean he's going to start. You don't have to be just because he's not better than our number 8, 10 in Bruno doesn't mean he shouldn't compete. You should give him a run for his money. Bruno shouldn't be comfortable thinking that place is mine because when it comes down to it, you get comfortable and then we're all complaining. Look how many minutes Bruno played this year. Over 5,000 minutes. No player should be playing that much. No player.
What I would say is this: I would prefer Maddison over him. When you say what is Bruno better than James Maddison, I was looking for something. So this year in the Premier League, he has the Bruno Fernandes highest expected assists in the league, but obviously it's not down to him to finish those chances. The most successful through balls in the league. He created the most big chances in the league. He won the second most amount of possession in the final third in the Premier League. He completed the most key passes. He had the most shot creating actions in the team. So that's build up play leading to attempts on goal, 41 more than the next player in the league. Most involved player in open play attacking sequences in the Premier League, 291 of them. The next to him was KDB, and that was at 261. And most passes ending in the final third of the pitch, 903. So when people say, well, does your eye test work? I see Bruno doing that game in, game out. Now, he does make mistakes. There are times when he frustrates the living daylights out of me. But when people say, and by the way, Bruno has been in the top 1-2 people completing those things 3.5 years on the bounce in the Premier League. I don't think you can be one of the biggest chance creators, one of the best people in terms of creating attacking opportunities in the league, win possession as regularly as he does, the amount of involvements in attacking sequences as he does. I don't think you can continue that season in, season out and be shit. I just don't see how
shit.
Bruno's shit.
No.
Even
Don't get
you can't,
mistaken.
but Flawless, you even say he doesn't excel at anything.
I don't think he does.
How does
On
he
the
not?
ball.
But again, that's your eye, brother. Now, this is what it comes down to, right? Your eye is going, I don't think he excels, but he is factually outperforming everybody else in the most important elements of a player in his role. So, just the fact that you're like, if I release music and you say it's shit, but I'm selling 50 million albums, your opinion is wrong.
No, because not the case. Because I just don't rate this eyes.
Yeah, you don't have to rate him, but what you can't say is Terry's music is awful and he doesn't excel at anything. Because to sell 50 million albums, you've got to excel at something, right?
Yeah, but Terry, what Flawless said is Maddison's better than Bruno. what you said.
again. So all right, so let's get back to this. One, I've got multiple questions to the things you said. Number one, I didn't know, when did expected assist become a stat? I don't know how that's measured.
I'll tell you why expected assist count, right?
No,
Because
I'm asking.
So yeah, for me, it's this.
Yeah.
If you've got a midfielder who is threading balls through and creating gilt edge opportunities that people should score, that midfielders should be praised for that pass, right?
110%.
So the players that are creating the most amount of clear-cut goal scoring opportunities are typically your best creators.
Again,
So
this
that's-
is where big chances come. So who are these players at Manchester United? Where's all these chances we've missed this season?
Well, you've been watching them, surely.
I've been watching. So
We're one of the lowest scoring teams in the top
Okay,
half.
no,
of the
we
league.
are one of the lowest scoring, but we're talking about chances created. So therefore, by that stat, a number of our players should be in the most missed big chances, correct? So which one of our attacking players are?
We have quite a few that have missed big chances equally.
No, but I'm saying high in the list. They should be top. If he's number one, we should have multiple players in the top 5, correct?
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because Bruno's created hang on a minute, but Bruno's created the most amount of chances. But the difference is at Man City, you've got 3 or 4 players all creating lots of big chances. Therefore, the team might miss more than Man United. What Man United need is more than just Bruno creating at this level. We need somebody else coming in and adding to those numbers. So for me, like, I just look at it this way: if Bruno isn't doing anything, why is he consistently performing alongside the guys that are rated as the best midfielders? If he was as bad as everybody makes out, how can he perform to this level? Because Pereira wasn't performing like this in the Man United team. Pogba wasn't even putting these numbers up regularly in the Man United team. And Pogba, in my opinion, is better than Bruno Fernandes.
100%.
So, but he wasn't able to consistently
so I go to the numbers
deliver.
thing, because these metrics are very much so like, what's a big chance? Like, what is created as a bit, like, what is the, like, these things? So again, to the list you mentioned in regards to anything you said there in some of them stats, who else is on that list? Who's give me 2, 3, 4, and 5. Who are the other midfielders on this list? That's what I want to know.
Number 2 in nearly every one of these categories is KDB.
Yeah. Who's below that?
Trent Alexander-Arnold's in the top 5. That's the last time I checked.
Midfielders, yeah, keep going. I'm in particular asking about
midfielders.
Yeah.
You're looking at those individuals. James Maddison, per 90 minutes, is actually up there. He's a very, very good midfield player in terms of his level of creativity. So I have to go back and actually have a look and check all of that, because I wasn't looking.
I want to know who the 5 is to gain these metrics, because then we can look at it and go, all right, so Bruno's topping all these things, but he's not the best midfielder in the league. He's nowhere near the best. He's better than KDB in these stats, but he's nowhere near KDB as a player.
I understand. So if you look this season, in terms of big chance he created in the league, Bruno, KDB, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Trippier is up there. The next 2, 5 and 6, Solly Mars and Pastel Gross. And watching Brighton play, your eye test, when you see the stats, if your eye test works, you're like, I can imagine that, because Brighton create a lot of goal scoring.
Well, that's the point I'm making. So Pascal Gross,
Mo Salah number 7, Harry Kane number 8, joint with Martin Odegaard. Jack Grealish is number 11 on 12 as an example. Maddison, by the way, is down there on 12 in 11th on 12. Maddison, like, per 90 minutes, he's played less time. So the point I'm making is there's no one in that top 10, right? When it comes to chance creation, if I was to say to Trippier, Trent, Mo Salah, Kane, these are some of the highest chance creators in the league, your brain would instantly go, well, that matches what I see on the pitch. But for some reason with Bruno Fernandes, we go, yeah, but he don't excel at anything. But we praise all these other players for excelling at chance creation, but we don't Bruno Fernandes. I don't get it.
Because chance creation is the only thing we use for attacking it, is the only thing we use for him. If we talk about other top quality midfielders, so let's say KDB, for example, chance creation doesn't come into it. We'll talk about that.
Yes, it does.
Let me land. No. I'm saying it's not the first, second, third thing you mentioned. Eventually, you'll get to it. The reason why we have to defend Bruno by stats is because he's just not that good. That's what that is.
You wouldn't say KDB.
I don't defend Bruno with stats. I don't defend Bruno with stats. I don't defend him with stats. I challenge your eye test. I challenge your eye test with facts, though. The point is,
so we can do that the same way.
Because I don't want to sound Man United too long, because we've got other clubs. But my question is this, and it's still not been answered. If he excels at nothing, how can he consistently be one of the best chance creators, best pressers in the league? Yeah, but he's not on the ball. But when you turn, but that's something. So not on the ball, but pressing for me is still an element of the ball. Hang on, but I think it is, because you can press well. You don't have the ability to win and tackle, which is an on the ball action. However, when you turn around and say volume, though, so this is the thing. We've done these stats before on the terrace. Volume. He isn't attempting more crosses and passes than his peers either. It's a fallacy. People go hero balls into the box. Well, him and KDB attempts about the same amount of through balls and crosses.
So He has all these stats better than KDB. All these numbers you've mentioned.
Similar to KDB, yeah.
So similar to KDB, and he's nowhere near KDB. That's where the stats and the argument falls
again,
down.
But that's your eye test. My point is, if he excels at nothing with the ball,
is he better than KDB?
Answer me no, I'm not saying he's better than KDB, but answer my question.
Okay,
if he excels with nothing with the ball at his feet, how can he consistently create for 5.5 years in European football and score the level of goals that he does and create what he does? How can he consistently do that if he doesn't excel with the ball at his feet? When the hardest skill in football is scoring goals.
How? How does he not accept? Because how does he not do that? Because, like I've said, volume. That's what that is. Because he plays more than everybody. He plays more. He does. Kaz said that. He plays 5,000 minutes. He plays more than everybody. And where this stats argument falls down, because all it is stats, is because like I said, he plays more than anybody. And when we mention attacking midfielders, let's take away from stats. He's not better than anybody. What top attacking?
Do you think if let's say you brought in a Maddison,
not that
right?
good.
Let's say
that's why before you go, that's why all them stats that Terry just put out right there. If we're talking about other top quality attacking midfielders, we don't mention all that. We don't have to mention them with KDB.
Hang on, I want to move on from this, boys, but I want to end it by saying this. We do focus on it, but Bruno's get brought up because people say he does nothing. So when people say to me,
I don't think he does nothing. That's too far.
Again, so this is it. When people say, what does he excel on?
Yes.
Highest amount of chance creation, most involvement in build-up play, most shots creation in the league, most involved player in open play attacking sequences, most passes in the league ending in the final third, finding a man. So to say the reason that people bring up stats
again, the last one there.
But the reason I'm saying this to you is because
the last one there, that's an empty stat, though, Terry. Like,
why is it
the most passes to someone who takes a shot.
I'll tell you why it's not an empty stat. I'll tell you why it's not an empty stat.
Like that's come on, man.
I'll tell you why. Because of the hypocrisy. It stinks. So when it comes to someone like a Scott McTominay, all we ever moan about is that he moves the ball sideways and doesn't try and move the ball into the final third.
I just think.
So then what happens is you get someone like Bruno where you can show that he's the best in the league at doing that. Yeah, but what does that stat matter? But when it comes to a Scott McTominay, people turn around and go, but what does he do with the ball? This is the thing. The reason the stats come up with Bruno is because he's lied about that he does nothing. And the stats prove the lies wrong.
Do nothing. I said
the lies wrong.
Like, that's
they prove it wrong.
No. The reason
I need to move on. We've got 3 or 4 more topics.
Go on.
I'm just saying, for me, stats only get brought up when people say, what does he do? So you get presented with stats that match my eye test. Your job is to then prove he isn't doing those things.
And I've never said he's not doing that. My issue with Bruno is that the last one you said there, it's the most passes to go lead into a shot. So he passes the ball to someone 25 yards from goal and they take a shot. That adds to that stat. That doesn't necessarily mean the quality. Just because a pass is successful, I go on further. Since we're doing stats, since we're doing stats, just because a pass is successful doesn't mean it's a good pass.
Can we just agree one thing?
And I understand that completely. KDB got an assist for Gundogan's first goal the other day when it deflected off his head. So I totally understand.
Yes.
Not every stat is a good statistic.
Yeah,
however,
that's the point I'm making. Things you mentioned,
bro. Bruno will get some assists for like a 2-yard pass and someone scores a screamer. But so does KDB and Trent and the other guys who are praised for it. My point is, though, these other stats are not just about 2-yard passes and goals going in, because that's not what a big chance create is. That's not where XA comes from. That isn't anything to do with most actions in the lead up to shots. That's to do with build up play, finding the right man, and of course you've got most involvements in open play sequences. That's you finding the right passes that are breaking. That's a breaking line stat. That means you're breaking. So that's last stat there you said is playing a ball through the lines. Yeah, that's playing a ball through the lines where somebody
could be a 5-yard pass, could be a 10-yard pass, could be a 15, 20, 25.
My point is this though. Is that I see other players get praised for how often they do this. This is what I think we're missing. I do need to move on. I see Bruno do the things that everybody else says he doesn't. I can show you stats, and if we want to sit behind and watch Y Scout, we can sit here and put the video footage out. That's the one thing with YouTube debates, which you can't have. I wish I could show the video evidence of what I see when I collate these stats, because I can look at every pass he's ever played for the last 6 years, and I see him doing it. But look, we're going to move on. There's some super chats here. First one says, Terry, League Gunner made a video this morning that, according to David Ornstein, Man City want Declan Rice. Do you know anything about that? Well, it's been rumored for a while, but we'll come back to that Declan Rice one in a little bit. What's everyone's reaction to Messi? But we've answered this question on 3 shows running. I'm sure everyone's going to say, well done, Messi's career, loads of money, happy days.
Guarantee goes back to Barcelona alone.
yeah, maybe. Talk to me when any of these players that are better than Mount assist the winning goal in a UEFA Champions League final. Let's chill on Chelsea players. It's been a horrible season for all of them. Will be back. Talking like Mount is Scott McTominay. Oh my days, is what African Giant says. He also says here, laughing my ass off the agendas. A Maddison class player. Oh my God, but Mason Mount, the more consistent player and has one more and has less injuries. Nah, let's not get him. We could go back and debate that, but we have to move on.
Can we talk how good of a deal that would be for the original argument? Or the original topic was how good of a deal would that be for someone like Newcastle or Tottenham for James Maddison, by the way. Oh, that's all I was going to say. Like, forget who does what, strikers. How good of a deal is this for Tottenham Hotspur? Because they're looking like they're the front runners more than Newcastle, who have been in for him all summer or parts of May as well. I think we're doing them a little bit of disservice because I'm in favor of some of the players that Tottenham are kind of targeting right now. And I just think, 50, 45 million. Do you not think that's a good deal or great deal or not that good? And who would he suit more?
No, I hear you completely. I think it'll be a very, very good signing indeed. Hate can cloud your judgment. Stats show Bruno is an elite chance creator.
So Solly March and Pascal Gross then in it, elite chance creators, because they're on that list too.
They're on the list.
Nobody in God's green earth.
Hang on. They're on the list. They're on the list, but combined, they haven't created as much as Bruno.
How much short are they of Bruno? How many?
So
how much?
If you add their numbers together, they're one short.
Okay, and this proves my point. Nobody would class them as elite chance creators because they're not.
They're very good. They're very good footballers. They've been very good this year in this
very good. And elite is different though. You know what I'm saying? Nobody here. I've never said Bruno is a bad player. I just think one, he's overrated, and two, for where Manchester United want to go, he's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point, Mike. I'm not challenging your opinion on that. I'm challenging your point from a few weeks ago where you said there's nothing he excels at with the ball at his feet. I think
because he plays more than everybody though, so he's getting more opportunity to play these passes. And like I said as well,
if he didn't excel, it wouldn't matter. If he didn't excel, his chance creation per game is as high as people that are playing less games.
Chance created is all like, all right, you mentioned it there, like the goal where Rashford scored against Arsenal. He got an assist. No.
Big chance created is when you create a gilt edge chance for somebody. So that will be a through ball that breaks a line and puts somebody clean through on goal. I want to move on from this because I want to ask a question here about Chelsea. According to the Times, Chelsea want Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. What are we saying, people?
Stinks.
It stinks. Mo, what are you saying? He's your player at Inter.
You're mute.
You're mute.
You're mute, Mo.
I muted myself with this discussion. I muted myself so I don't say anything. But another £100 million going into our pockets, and then we're going to get the players back again a year or so because we don't know how to use strikers. Another good deal. But let me just tell you something. Pochettino never played with a number 9 that is actually a number 9. Like during his days, as far as I know, in Spurs, he had Harry Kane, who likes to drop deep and allow the wingers to go and go score goals. So why would he want someone who thrives in a 2-striker formation, someone who thrives as playing in a box if he plays by himself? I don't get it. I don't get why Pochettino would want a number 9 like this. And he would cost you an arm and a leg. He would cost you about like as much as a Caicedo, an £80 million or a £75 million or something like this. I don't think Inter are selling him. Just that's probably the end of story because people don't know, and we talked about this morning, Inter just started refinancing their loan so they don't have to sell players. So they're not in need for money if that goes successfully. So we don't have to sell any big player this summer. So you will have to actually do the same as you did with Lukaku, which offer more than the valuation of the player to lure him out of the club. So, and I think that Chelsea wouldn't do that again. They won't make the same mistake again by offering over the valuation of a player.
How much
I don't see it happening.
100 million.
The valuation of the player is 75. That's him. Lukaku wasn't 105 when you paid 105. The difference is at that time, Inter didn't need to sell Lukaku. So you offered more than the valuation. Now, the rumor in the last 2 years that Inter had to make a profit. So you only pay the valuation of the player. But now, with the refinancing of the loan and them saying Lautaro is untouchable at the club, you'll have to overpay for that player that still has 4 years left of his contract. So that means his valuation now is 80. So you'll have to
Okay,
top
makes
that.
sense.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense now?
Yeah.
We're not in need to sell a player that is happy at Inter, just got married in Milan, and he's scoring 20 plus goals every year, and he's favorites for the coach. So you'll have to.
There's an 8-year contract pending from Chelsea, right? And 10 million per year season, or 12 million, right? Just to make it up. How are you saying? That
like
stinks.
this.
It don't make sense. If it's not a two-man strike, this doesn't make no sense.
It's not gonna work. And also, you being going against Real Madrid, who can, I think they can offer the same money as you. If they miss on Havertz, they're gonna offer the same money as you for Lautaro Martinez. I don't think Chelsea will make that mistake. But is he gonna be a good player for Chelsea? I don't think so. I don't think he suits the style that Pochettino wants to play. He's not a creator. He's just a goal scorer. And Pochettino likes his players very dynamic, and he isn't the most dynamic player. So I don't know why would Chelsea go on for him other than just, we want to sign another striker. We just want to please the fans and sign a striker. So I don't see why would you go for him.
Yeah, I think it's on our list, but I don't think it's a main priority. For me personally, I'd rather Osimhen, Tony before him. Those sort of strikers, get in the box, finish, get on the end of chances, that sort of thing. I don't really want a Martinez. Like, he wasn't great in the World Cup. I've watched him a lot recently in the Champions League. He's okay. He gives me more like sort of Jesus vibes, good on the ball. Not the best finisher, I would say. I would say like he's not a striker. He's not really a striker. I look at him more as like a Nkunku sort of hybrid sort of guy. So where we're bringing in Nkunku already, it doesn't really make sense to bring in someone who's quite similar to that. I'd rather go for like a Osimhen, in all honesty. So hopefully that doesn't happen, man. I think we can get better.
I'm surprised you're not linked to any actual strikers, like no proper pure number 9s. And I know there's a lack of them out there.
We're linked to Osimhen.
That's not happening though, is it? Like, let's be honest. You have to
It
sell
could
a lot.
happen.
They could pay the money.
I think they got to sell a lot more before they can do anything, and also focus on obviously midfield, because you're like, if you've got Kovacic and Mount on the way out, Zakaria's not there no more. You need a big bulk of that before you even probably look at number 9, because it'd probably be cheaper for Chelsea. But
it's going to be a long summer though. We're literally the window's not even open yet. We need to, like I said, outgoings. Striker has already been said as a main priority, and Osimhen's been sort of mentioned a lot of times by quite a few journalists. So I think we're going to try and get him. I do think Todd Bowley is going to be cheeky and maybe even try going for Kane. I don't see Kane coming to Chelsea at all, but I won't be surprised if we try and get him.
That's not happening. I mean,
it's not happening.
When I say that, like, I know journalists can get things wrong, but but journalists at this stage of the transfer window are very, as it stands, as of right now, things could change, blah, 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 blah. I heard that, like the personal terms, 4 years ago, it was personal terms agreed. Then it was personal terms are no problem. Now it's personal terms are really appreciated. And I'm sort of like, they change it every year. I love them. I fucking love these journos. But Matt Law just came out and said there's no chance in hell, basically. Like, he was so blunt in terms of it won't happen. I think that's fairly significant, but
okay, yeah, fair.
Maybe I'm wrong about Lautaro Martinez. I know he scores goals. I just feel like for the Premier League, he's going to be a yard too slow. He just seems a little bit too slow. Good shot, decent technique, good finisher. But in the Prem,
he's not an athlete.
That's it. He reminds me of like the striker version of Alex Tellez. Really good as a footballer. Just doesn't have the athleticism to play in the Premier League. And I think it would be a bad move for Chelsea. So, of course, I want it to happen. I love you guys. Your number 9 success rate is awful.
Yeah.
Broja, I think Broja will be class under Pochettino. Honestly,
there's more chance of Bruno Fernandes changing Flawless's mind than Chelsea signing a number 9 that works. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
things. The reason why Lautaro is linked today to Chelsea is that Inter started talks with Chelsea to keep Lukaku. That's officially started from the management. So I think there might be something cooking here with Inter loan, is keep that Lukaku as a loan, or even get Lukaku back and Chelsea pay money and take Lautaro. That's how desperate they are to get Lukaku off the books, because he is on 16.9 million pounds a year, which is 380 million a week.
Chance.
You are desperate to get Lukaku off your books.
Lukaku?
Yeah.
No,
The
Lukaku's on
the
about
wage.
300 a week. 300 a week. He's not on
It's
385 a week.
16.8. Just do the, I don't know, 16.8 million a year.
Yeah,
That's
he's on
the
about
salary.
300. He's not on. There's no one at the club more than 320 a week. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
that
I
is
don't
about
know.
that is about
I would call that
320, 16 point, because 50 million a year would be about 300k roughly. So
Yeah, there's no one close to
16.9.
400k. There's no one at Chelsea close to 400k a week. No one at all.
It's 325. So yes. But you're desperate to get him off. Lautaro isn't gonna cost that much money. He is gonna be way cheaper in wages. But maybe that's why. I don't get it. I really don't see it. By the way, being an Inter fan, I'm really happy for him to leave Lautaro for the right money. I don't care. So 325, yes, that's the right number. So
Yeah.
325. I did the math wrong in my head. So yes. But that Lautaro thing is gonna
just
be
gives
mad.
me
If you
Barella,
get
man.
Lautaro Martinez after the Lukaku deal, it will be the
Yeah, I don't
biggest
get it.
fools in football history.
That's
To
why I'm
be
not
honest.
reading into it much. That's why I'm not reading into it much. I think it's more of a like an Argentinian link up with Poch. I think it's more that. I don't know if it's really solid like that. I'm not really looking into it. I think he's on the list, but I don't think he's like even on third on our list, in all honesty.
Yeah, who would be on Chelsea list?
Well, they got
I don't know who
Osimhen.
else would they
Osimhen,
get,
you
guys.
got
Who else would
Vlahovic.
they get? And I don't get it why nobody's going for Ivan Tony. Even if he's
Yeah,
gonna
no,
hit
Tony
6
was on our
months, he's
list.
gonna
Tony
go in
was on our list,
December.
but
I'll tell you
called
why,
interest.
because he's banned until January.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
literally.
but again, the season start in August, 4 or 5 months.
No, I disagree. I disagree for the same reasons I disagree with Lee Gunner when he says you should sign Neymar even if he misses half a season every year. Because what are you going to do in that first 6 months? You're going to be missing someone that's not going to score. It doesn't matter how much you score in the second half of the season. This is why it's a fallacy that even if Neymar played half a season or Tony in half a season scored 40 goals, that doesn't help you win points in the first half of the season. It's a fallacy, and you can't sign him now and nobody else. Even if they get Tony, there's got to be another striker.
You won't be fit.
That's why I'd sign him though, Terry, because United need more than one striker. That's why I would get Tony, but we need additions regardless. Say Ivan Tony didn't get the betting ban was available and we signed him this summer. We'd still need more strikers regardless. So that's why I'd go and
Tony's
get
banned.
strikers.
Tony's also banned from training. So he can't do any.
Exactly.
He can go to a park with a coach and do stuff. But if he gets caught with Brentford coaches, an example, the ban can be extended. So it's one of those things. What condition will he be here and come? Like he should be fit. He should be. But I'm not professing to know him. I'm only going by stuff I see on social media. Yeah. You don't know what he's going to get up to in these next few months. The guy could just be out there partying like Ibiza saying "fuck Brentford" again. You know what I'm saying? Like he could be. I doubt he will be, but that video made me laugh because it weren't my club, I suppose. But yeah,
what it is, Mo? Yeah,
what about Mitrovic to Chelsea?
I'll take him. I'll take him as a plan B, not as our starting striker. I'll take him as a plan B for sure. I think it's good. I rate him. I think he's a good finisher. I think he's good on the ball, good link up. But yeah, I wouldn't take him as a number one. I'll take him as a squad player.
Is he the opposite of Harry Kane? Why are these links so strange to Chelsea? They just want a striker to bang in goals. Like Mitrovic is so different than Harry Kane. Mitrovic isn't great. Mitrovic is an absolutely fantastic number 9. But he isn't a playmaker like Harry Kane. He isn't great on the ball. He isn't great moving. He's too slow.
I think he's all right on the ball. I think he's got good link ups.
He's just okay on the ball. He's just okay in the ball.
He's a plan B if you are at club trying to challenge for top honors. And even
thank you, Flawless. Exactly that. Like he's the one that you might get as a second number 9 if you're whipping crosses or something like that. But he shouldn't be your main striker going to try to win a Premier League or challenge. No, come on, guys. Yeah, Mitrovic scored goals, but he's just a number 9 at this level. You need a more dynamic number 9. Like even Martial, when he's fit, I think he's better than Mitrovic, to be honest. Like when he's fit, like come on,
Harry Kane, old Martial, maybe this Martial.
No, stop.
No, Martial is not. But if Martial is fit, he's not a better player than Mitrovic.
Injury seems to have caught up with him. Like that's why I said previous Martial. Yes, this current Martial.
Yeah, what I mean is on the ability-wise,
R9 and his peak was better than Mitrovic, but he isn't now. Like at the end of the day, it don't matter. It's done. Like,
so you're talking about injuries, but what I'm saying is that you guys tried.
He's finished now. He's finished.
Yeah, he's done. I'm sure this career is over. It's done. But what I mean, there are a lot of more dynamic forwards in the Premier League. Like we're gonna go back to the Ivan Toney thing, but Mitrovic is a
Chelsea. You could bring your boy back. Bamford back to the bridge.
Ah,
Man
Oh
like
my
Bamford.
God.
Proper Chelsea. You want proper Chelsea back in the club, didn't you, you guys?
nah. I
Oh
mean, when he came back to the bridge, he scored against us, man. But nah.
The Jelly Deal Brigade, they want all their proper Chelsea boys back. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
If they're gonna pay money for Mitrovic, I think they just keep Lukaku then. I think if they're gonna pay money for Mitrovic, I think they
Mo,
just keep Lukaku.
We're on to bigger and better things, man. Stop talking about Mitrovic starting at Chelsea and these things. Let's take him as a squad player. We need an Osimhen. Bring me an Osimhen. We're on to bigger things now. Do you know what I mean? We're on to much
I
bigger
don't
things
think
than that.
Osimhen. So Osimhen didn't just win the league with Napoli to play in the Champions League to go to a Chelsea that is not gonna win the league and not gonna play in Europe. So I don't get it.
Yeah, but
What are you talking about?
It's still a big project though, Mo. It's an attractive project that we can sell to him. And if we get Osimhen right, and we get in if we fill all the holes that we need to fill this summer, right? Sorry, yeah, this summer, we can definitely get into the top four, 100% with Poch. There's no doubt about it. Even this season, if we had Tuchel that was
100%,
still in
yes.
charge, we would have never finished 12th. I'm sorry, we would have never finished 12th if we still had Tuchel. We would have finished in Europe at least.
Out to the panel. Chelsea still an attractive club, and I asked the question because a lot of viewers say what every day they say what Mo just said. Like, why would someone join Chelsea right now? Are Chelsea still an attractive club, Flawless, to go and play for?
Absolutely, yes, because they'll pay you the money. That's why I like this. You know what
Nah,
I'm saying? They will drop the no, not just that. I'm saying that adds into it. Chelsea can pay money that certain teams are. Like Terry mentioned it before, speaking on Neymar, and obviously we're not talking about him, but in regards to if Neymar's moving, Chelsea is a potential destination. Why? Because you can pay the money. Not saying you should sign him, not saying you will. So is Chelsea still an attractive
Can I
proposition?
challenge that, Flawless,
Yes.
and let you continue? Can I
Oh.
challenge that and let you continue? But
Yeah, cool.
the direction that Chelsea are going is we don't want to do the same thing. We don't want to pay. We don't want to pay that much money again. We want to keep the contracts in.
I hear you, but what I'm saying is they have the potential to. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying potential. Like I said, if Neymar was leaving, there's a handful of clubs in Europe that can afford him. One of them is Chelsea. When you can pay big money, can be in the key word.
But they just said they don't want to do this.
But Flawless. Wait, you think
they just said they are not going to do this, Flawless?
Yeah,
you're forgetting something though with Chelsea. Like, I'm not being funny. To me, they're the biggest club in London. For one, they're in London. For two, yeah. Like, let's keep it a buck. Yes, Arsenal have got a more exciting team and project, but Chelsea have been out of the Champions League once, and now they're not really going to be that attractive all of a sudden. And they can pay more wages than Arsenal as well. By the way, they got great facilities too. Yeah, the stadium's a little bit garbage at the moment. It shouldn't be but I'm sure they got plans to renew that stuff. Pochettino's, I think, is an exciting manager as well. Bro, they're just
Kaz is doing all the selling for me, man.
On top of that as well, there's no player that gets linked to Chelsea or rumored to link to Chelsea and will go, that makes no sense for them. Why would they go there? We might doubt it from like a playing style thing, but even with Poch as well, of course, Chelsea is still an attractive proposition. And like you said,
so let me tell you why I'm saying this.
There is a difference. Like Caicedo ain't going to no other team.
Sorry, there is a difference between.
Sorry, one at a time, guys. One at a time. Go on, Kaz.
I was going to say it just comes down to preference. If you're a football player, if let's say Arsenal and Chelsea were to come in for you, you probably choose Arsenal currently right now. But it doesn't mean that Chelsea are not a bad outfit either. Like for me,
exactly what I was going to
say. Down to preference of where you want to be and what club you probably liked more as well. If both clubs are in for you, if you're getting paid the same wage, the same amount. I think Arsenal, again, they are a massive club. And right now, they are performing better than Chelsea. But let's be honest, Arsenal have only performed better than Chelsea for one season. So let's not go on like Chelsea are not bigger than them just because of one season.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is that Chelsea might be, if I'm gonna say about a club that is more likely to win trophies in London in the near future, it might be Chelsea. Because of the way they operate, the way they spend money. Because I've seen this movie before. I've seen Chelsea go from 10th to winning the league. I've seen Chelsea from being 5th to win the Champions League. I've seen this a lot before. However, this is great for a project or up-and-coming player, but an established player that is ready to win tomorrow, they would rather go to a club that is closer to winning the next year than in the next 5 years.
Maybe.
That's what I mean.
I get your point, but just to round this off and say that Casemiro is an example that kind of disproves the rule. There is also, it all depends on the motivation, and Kaz got it right, of individual players and what they want. Casemiro's view was, I could go to Man United and win very little or nothing, but I want to kind of go there and try and help get a giant club back to winning the biggest trophies in the world, because the legacy that is forged from this is gargantuan. And it all depends. Listen, I think Chelsea, after one bad year, they're still a very attractive club. one of the most successful teams out there. You know, not as big as West Ham, according to Danny Dyer. He was making me laugh in a video interview I watched with him today. Having to play down, it doesn't bother him that the song about his daughter gets sung. That was actually the weirdest thing, because he's basically like, I love Bowen to bits. My daughter's with him though, so it's really weird because you're meant to hate your daughter's boyfriend and all of that. But it's a great interview. Go watch it on TalkSport. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. There's a comment here that says, I think Tony can do training with other sports as a loophole. Don't quote me on that. Oh, that's fair. If you can do that, then maybe you can do a little bit of basketball training, or I don't know, maybe not rugby.
So Terry, do you think they are appealing this training thing? Do you think if that goes away and he can train, do you think clubs should start signing him?
Maybe if he could train with your team, as long as you don't have, like, for Man United, he's no good just to sign Tony and nobody else, because we need a striker now. But if we signed Harry Kane and Tony, but he could train with us up until January, I'd be happy. From a United point of view.
You paused.
This here says that FFP need to just spend their time with Chelsea. Chelsea are under no FFP pressures at all right now, according to a lot of the financial experts. This here says Terry said Mount was slightly better than Darren Gibson before he got GA in the quarter, semis, and final of the Champions League. Clearly hasn't learned your lesson. Well, now what you're doing, my friend, is you're doing a correlation, a weird correlation thing. So I was someone that was quite critical of Mount when he first broke through at Chelsea, and I said after his first 2 seasons that maybe I was slightly harsh in terms of saying that I didn't think he was much better than Darren Gibson. I think at his best, he is better than Darren Gibson. But my mind still remains the same on him, that I think he's a good, sometimes a very good football player. That's why if we sign him along and Frankie de Jong this summer, and he's there as backup, I'm happy with it at a good price. If he's our main signing to play next to Casemiro in the double pivot, then I'm fuming. So nothing about my opinion on Mount has changed at all. Thank you for the super chat, but that wasn't quite the got me that you thought. I think it was going to be. This here says if Bruno didn't create as many chances, he wouldn't play so much. Bruno has flaws, but to say he's overrated is over the top.
No, it's not over the top.
Flawless is blinded by hate.
Not over the top. No, I'm not blinded by hate because people call this man world class, and he's not.
Yeah,
world class.
They were calling him world class. They were asking about him being better.
And like I said, it's only with him that we have to mention stats after stats after stats. Like with the big, like there's so many, because Terry threw out a lot of stats. Like in terms of metrics and stuff, like big chances created, the corners and free kicks not come under that as well.
You know what? He's not the second in his position.
I don't know. Everyone slow down. Sorry. I just want to respond to that again.
Yeah,
so for me, some of it does come down to corners and free kicks. If, of course, so the chance if he crosses the ball in and the ball is perfect and it's there in the middle of the 6-yard box for a point blank header, then that would be considered a big chance created. But for me, I don't think so. Again, that would show that he has, because again, to your original claim that he doesn't excel at anything. If you're able to consistently cross brilliant balls into dangerous areas, that is something you excel at. So for me, again, I've seen a lot of people turn around and say that assists or chance creation from free kicks and corners should be discounted from a player.
No, it should definitely not be discounted. That's the question I'm asking, is because you mentioned there specifically, if he crosses a corner into the box and it's in the 6-yard box and it's perfect, and the attacker, whoever misses it, how off? So say, for instance, he crosses the ball into the box and it's flicked on at the near post and it goes over the bar. Is that classed as a big chance created?
It all depends on. So say that bit again. So
I said, oh my God, you're over analyzing things.
No. It's not over analyzing. No, it's not over analyzing it. I'm trying to get to what a big chance created is.
So I make sure I get it right.
So if a corner's whipped into the box and it's flicked on at the near post, say like towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's flicked on by the near post, say by Rashford, for instance, and it goes over the bar, is that classed as a big chance?
No. So that would only be a big chance created one if somebody has an attempt on goal from it, and you're striking the ball from a position where it's perceived as easier to score than miss.
See,
you know what this is though, you know.
Not to hog all the show, like that's where these things fall down for me, because then what is perceived as what's the best opportunity to score? Because like I said, you mentioned
again, I would say this. Bowen's chance that he won the European Cup the other night, that's classed as a big chance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an easier chance to score than Gundogan's volley in the FA Cup.
Absolutely.
It can't.
That's the
The way
point.
I want to move on from it, guys, because the viewers are legitimately getting bored of it. That's why they're leaving.
Yeah,
so
they are.
I want to move on to some other subjects here. I saw some tweets that if Sir Jim Ratcliffe take over United, then minority stakeholders will go to the Cayman courts against the Glazers, and if proven guilty, the Champions League spot could be under threat. I'd have to read that before responding because I don't really understand what that means without delving into it to a wider story. But thank you for the super chat. Anyone want to suggest where Neymar should go to? Where should Neymar join?
To his sister's yard.
I'll take him at United, man. On loan, 100%. Let PSG take the majority of his deal if he wants to.
You know what's really funny about that big chance question you're answering? Some people are saying that Flick-on example would be considered a big chance. Some are saying it's not. I can assure you, that's not what a big chance created. I'll tell you something about big chance creation as well.
Yeah, go
Say KDB twines up 2 man tomorrow night on the right-hand side of the box, cuts in, beats a man, squares it across the 6-yard box for a tap-in, and Haaland's foot just misses the ball. That doesn't count as a chance created because there was no contact made at the end of it. So what I will say is this: if you've got a lot of chance creation, that's great, but then you've got the eye test elements that don't even add to stats. So for me, it's about the overall package when it comes to those things and understanding.
We're moving on. The views are getting bored.
Yeah, this is why this is why I wasn't being like an idiot. Like I was genuinely asking because I'm confused as to what a big chance created is. Like legit.
Let's be honest. Chelsea have a scattergun approach. We'll see. I think we'll see by the end of the summer whether they do or they don't. This is hypocrisy for all the banging on about the trophies this season, and success is determined by trophies. Now Chelsea are a bigger club than Arsenal. When Chelsea have more trophies, no consistency at all.
Chelsea got 2 European Cups. You got 0. That's why.
We got 4.
I think as well, not to put words in anyone on the panel's mouth, to not get into this debate for about the 2000th time on socials. I think people are talking about success in the contemporary sense in recent years. Chelsea have been more successful, and that doesn't just disappear from footballers' minds because of one bad season. I think to contextualize.
Flawless. We've got 4 then, by the way. We've got 2 Europas and we've got 2 Champions League.
Now I was talking about just the Champions League, but I hear your point. You know what I'm saying? I was talking solely Champions.
Speaking of Arsenal, is the next talking point. Report from the media this afternoon says Rice has his heart set on them. A £90 million bid is imminent regarding this, and it's felt that it's quite close. We've spoken about Declan Rice many times. Is he worth it? Everyone's going to have an opinion. Do you guys feel like this Declan Rice deal could be a benchmark for a lot of other transfers around the Premier League this summer?
Not really. Jack Grealish went for 100 million. I'm not saying he's not worth it. It's up to you what you price him at. But then they could probably look at the West Ham. Declan Rice is just as vital to West Ham as Jack Grealish was to Aston Villa. So it's not English tax and everything. It makes sense, doesn't it? 90 million. That's what they value him at. So it's where it is. And they just want to.
I think actually he's undervalued. If we're talking about, he just won a trophy, being a captain of a team, and I think he's undervalued. If you're gonna value Jack Grealish at 100 million, and now Declan Rice should be valued more. He has more international caps. He's guaranteed a place in the English national team. He's a star boy. He will sell you jerseys, and I think. People say he's overpriced. Wait. Based on what?
I'll give you a perfect analogy then. How much is Bruno worth?
About like 80, 90 million.
And he's exactly the same ability as your man there, yeah?
No, but there's English tax as well. That's why I mentioned. I just mentioned English tax. In that, I said he's English international and he's going to an English club in Arsenal. He's staying in London. He is a star boy. That's what I mean. There's a difference. When you get an Italian player, he's not going to sell as much jersey.
I hear it.
You have to put that.
I hear it. He's not. Look, Jude Bellingham just went for his price as well, and he didn't go to no English club or whatever. So I just, again, no, look, at the end of the day, none of these players, Caicedo is not worth 90, 80 million. Let's keep it a buck. Yeah. Declan Rice is not worth 90 million. Anthony's not worth 85. Maguire 80, Mount's not even worth 60 million, but guess what, man? It is what it is.
They are worth what they're paid.
I know.
As a product, they are worth what they are worth. What I mean is that West Ham don't have to kill him.
For me personally, I think the consensus of it all, right? Yeah, I think this is a good price for what it is for Arsenal, because I thought it would be they're paying 110. I think Arsenal 90 million is actually, for what it is right now, is a good price for them. I think so. I think it's a good. I think it's a good deal.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna affect the market much, Terry. In all honesty, I don't see. There's not many players right now that are as valuable as Rice. I would say, especially in that position. So I don't see it doing much in the market. I'm still seeing Lavia for like 40, 50. I know Southampton got relegated. Paulinho, they're not gonna ask for 90 million for him just because Rice went for 95. So I don't think it's gonna do much. In all honesty.
But I think this is gonna affect the Caicedo price massively.
No, it's
That's
not.
what I
It's
think.
Not
Really?
The Caicedo price already set. It's going to be between 70 and 80 million. Declan Rice is more expensive because, again, people say English tax, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Mo, but it's always used in a very gammon Brexit kind of.
No, I'm not using it negative, Terry.
Mo, please. I'm not saying you did. I literally said that's not what you did. But people use it as a. It's almost used as like a pejorative now to put people down. English tax is real because there's more commercial value in England for Declan Rice than there is Caicedo because of the market that you own the image rights in because he's an England international. It's the same as I guarantee you Caicedo's more valuable in Ecuador than Declan Rice is. But people always turn it into a xenophobic weird thing. It's like, no, I don't know if anyone knows this, but Son is more valuable in South Korea than Harry Kane, but not in the UK because it's about where you're from. Sometimes it's crazy. I always remember having this argument with Have Hope. He's like, I don't like it when I watch Match of the Day because they always talk a lot about the English players. You're watching an English show for an English audience. Of course, when it comes to talking about the up-and-coming internationals, they're not going to focus on the Ghana squad because or Ecuador or America. That's for those countries to do. Like the audience watching are not all Chelsea fans, and like Match of the Day's audience, I think I read somewhere that like 60% of the audience are not Premier League fans. They're outside, so they've got a vested interest in nationality. But Declan Rice is very valuable.
Question as well, just on the English tax thing. I don't know if it's but it seems in like this window, I like all the rumors that I need to word this correctly, that the price of English tax seems to have gone up because of this quota conversation. It seems English players, there's always been English tax, but the price of English tax has now gone up.
I'm seeing James Ward-Prowse for 52 million.
You've got to look at Gibbs White. Gibbs White in last summer went for like 45 million pounds. Gibbs White. Now he had a good season, but Gibbs White, 45 million. So that's where you're setting a standard. It makes me sick that a decade ago we let Danny Welbeck leave for 15 million pounds. Like Danny Welbeck would leave now for 60, 70 million from Man United. If he was at his level he was then now, that's what he'd go for. But yeah, look, if
I'll be willing to keep him, man.
Ward-Prowse is 52 million pounds.
That's crazy.
Then Declan Rice at 90 million is a bargain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what
anything less than 100 is a bargain.
Yeah, man. It seems the price of English tax has gone up to me. That's why I asked that question. It seems it's gone up.
I think it's academy tax. I think it's because again, Garnacho would be considered homegrown because he's come through the Man United academy as an example. So I think it's that homegrown quota. If your club needs it, then there must be a premium. There must be a premium.
I don't even think Garnacho's class is homegrown because he came from Atletico.
But he joined at 16, so he's an academy player.
Okay,
People keep talking about the price, but nobody's talking about the ability of Declan Rice and how
Declan Rice is amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Like,
but even with his ability,
I don't think he's a superstar, Don. But I think he is an all-round player that can play a number 8, can play a DM.
Like, he's the English darling. Like he's the English media darling. He's going to sell loads of shirts. He's what he offers off the pitch as well. I think is priceless. To be fair, what he does in and around fans, he gives you a good feel factor as well as like I would say Casemiro and Martinez does for Man United at this moment of time potentially. Like I think he'd be one of those. It would definitely. I think it'd be good. I think that's why Ramsdale is valued at the way he is valued at the moment. Look what he does to rile up fans and piss off other fans as well. I think Rice would do the exact same.
And I think Rice, when you say he's not a superstar, this guy just captained West Ham to their first trophy in 43 years. Their first European trophy in 58 years. That guy, especially in the East End of London, there's going to be a statue of that guy. There's going to be a statue of that guy.
I was there in the parade yesterday. They love him, man.
There's a madness. And the thing with Rice, people talk about this a lot in football, and football fans hate it. And I'm a liar. Football fans who got let go from football clubs or have been sacked or not got promotions because they've been told by their bosses or coaches they lack character, hate this. But the guy has character. And what I mean by that is he can handle pressure. He's a leader. He clearly, the way he motivates people around him, he's he's been I know Mark Noble was officially the club captain, but this guy's been leading that West Ham dressing room since the age of 21. When there's men in his team that are 10 years older than him, and they say we just listen to him because he's a natural born leader, and that is a skill set that is valuable. Because I don't think there's a lot of leaders in football like there used to be, and Declan Rice is, in my opinion, impeccable at it. And I'm jealous that Arsenal are getting him. To be fair, I want these Qataris to come in tonight, take ownership, and just go, there's 120 million. I'd overpay for him. I genuinely would overpay.
Him that highly.
I don't rate him as a 120 million pound player, but if we had Qatari money and then money's no object, I don't care about. The only reason I care about overpaying now is because we always run out of cash when we need it at United. But I think he is a very, very good player, and I think he is a leader that this club could partly build around for the next decade. And I think he'll improve Arsenal no end. I think he'll improve Arsenal.
He's better than Xhaka. He'll fit like a glove. He's way better than Xhaka, and he always has been. Like, but for me, as a player that's kind of similar like him, you can go check the stats as much as you want. It's that one's probably more of a DM than him, than the 8, but I think you can do the 8. Is Amrabat, and he costs 3 times less as that much amount of money, and I think he can give you exactly the same on the pitch, if not more. Progressive passing, he beats Declan Rice, but Declan Rice beats him in some defensive duels as well. But they're very, very similar players.
Don't do stats though. Stats mean nothing.
No, I know we can always.
Amrabat was actually.
I never said that. Let me clear that up. I never said that.
I'm not going to give it down to just one game, but for people that don't watch Fiorentina, for some that do, people realize how great Amrabat is and how solid he is, even from the World Cup itself. So there's no World Cup that he is a good reason why Fiorentina, alongside others, got them into 2 cup finals. Yes, they lost both of them though. One against Inter Milan, one against obviously West Ham. Got them an 8th place finish for Fiorentina, by the way, who were looking absolutely arse and cheeks at the start of the season. No, I mean midway through the season after the World Cup period, but they've had a solid season. But Sofiane Amrabat for me is a similar player to Rice, but costs 3 times as less. But I'm not going to say that they're completely the same. They're not. But that's where it comes down to your scouting. That's just my opinion.
Declan Rice is if they get Declan, I wanna say something about Arsenal, because I said before if they don't get this over the line, but now if they get this over the line and now they're in for the Caicedo, this is the Arsenal that Arsenal fans wanted. The Arsenal that is a continuation of what happened last year. The Arsenal that want to move forward and still compete next year. And if they get a Rice, Caicedo, a centre back, and another forward, a backup for the wingers, who says they're not going to compete? I think they have a way bigger chance that even this year to actually go toe-to-toe with City next year if they get these players, because they're going to spend the money. They get really high-caliber players in Caicedo and Declan Rice. People forget that they competed with Granit Xhaka, who everybody wanted out of the club. Now, Declan Rice, Caicedo, I think people are underestimating Arsenal. If they get these deals over the line, I think they are in a very, very good position.
Yeah, but Mo, Chelsea losing out on Ugarte is not good news for Arsenal though, because we've been in, like, that's embarrassing, right? It's annoying that we lost out on Ugarte, and it's very clear that.
Can I just interject there? Yeah. Someone from your fan base decided to put up a compilation of Ugarte and compared him to Scott McTominay, and obviously you can always pick out someone's bad bits compared to like great bits as well. And you just can't unsee it.
Yeah, no, you see Ugarte, like, look, he would have been a solid signing, and I liked what I saw of him when I saw him against Arsenal and that. But with Caicedo, we've been linked to him for a minute. We tried to get him in January. We bidded 55, and then we moved on to Enzo, which was a smart decision, because if we waited till summer, I don't think we would have got him, in all honesty, with how the season turned out. But with Caicedo, I think we're going to be really aggressive with this one, man. I think the fact that we've missed out on Ugarte, the club actually released like an open statement yesterday as well, basically apologizing, putting their hands up and saying we know we fucked up, but we're going to try and rectify it. So if we let Caicedo go to Arsenal, I'm telling you, the fan base is not going to have it. They're not going to have it. These guys are going to move aggressive.
I think Brighton are testing you though, because they want Levi Colwill, and they're going to say, and because Brighton are so good at negotiations and everything that comes down to it, they're literally testing you. How valuable is Colwill to you? Is he that valuable that you don't want Caicedo? Because if not, he's going to cost you 100 million. If not, sell us Colwill. I don't know what. I think you can afford to maybe give Colwill.
Nah, we can't. We can't. I don't know how much. I don't know how much you've seen of.
Then do what City do. Then do what City and other clubs do. Put a buyback clause on him that can activate in a couple of years. Because you have got Badiashile, Thiago Silva still. You still got Fofana, and I'm not going to say Levi Colwill's can't fill them shoes, but sometimes you got to look at what does your squad value right now. What does it need more? Does it need a Levi Colwill Just because he's or does it need more of a Caicedo? It needs more of a Caicedo, mate.
We need both. We need both.
You need both, but sometimes this comes down to chess. It comes down to the chess piece.
And the key thing that you said there is, you're going to pay the 100 million. Pay it. If they're saying 80 million and they want Caicedo as well as that, we're not giving you Levi. We're not giving you Levi. We're going to give you 100 to make up for that difference, and we're going to keep Levi Colwill. I've watched a lot of him this season. Yeah, this is going to be a top player, man. Top player.
Do you know what I'm saying though? This is why me, Flawless, and Kaz are relaxed though. You lot all squabbling over Caicedo and Rice. We're getting Mount, bro.
Terry, how come they think we're going to fund Caicedo for them for Mount for 70 million? That's what infuriates me.
That's exactly what you're going to do, bro. I'm sorry.
No,
you're going to do that.
Stop doing that. I'm going out the distance. We're going to pull the plug on Mount and you guys are 70 million still. I just don't understand.
You lot, I'm telling you now, you lot need to get these deals done before the Qataris come in at United, because that'll be a game changer. But that's why I want them, because that's just going to be... You ever seen that footage? I didn't like the show in the end. I'm not a fan of Martin Bashir after what he did. But you seen the footage of Martin Bashir and Michael Jackson shopping, where Michael Jackson is just like two of them and one of them. And in the end of it, they're like, how much did you spend? This was like in 2002. It's like, I don't know. And they said, they told him, yeah, you just spent like 17 million pounds in 2.5 minutes in some shop buying vases. He bought these 2 urns.
I remember that. The documentary of the Asian guy. With the Asian guy. Yeah.
Martin Bashir, the journalist. That's going to be Man United. Right, Caicedo, Rice, Mount. Let's just buy the England squad, right? And let's fly all that. Listen, that's what I want.
Terry, that's why I actually want Jimmy to get the club, because I think he's going to be more reserved than the Qataris. They're going to have a bag to blow. Do you get it? Because you guys obviously generate a lot of revenue and whatnot. So you ain't going to be in trouble with FFP.
I disagree there.
So
I disagree.
You don't think Ratcliffe's going to be reserved?
I think it will go more down like this. When a new owner comes into the club, clearly he wants to win over the fans. That means he's going to overblow some budget for the transfers to get whoever you want to get. And then the next season, relax even more and try to do whatever he wants to do in the first place. You know,
I actually made that point. A few weeks ago, Kaz, on this show. I said, like Todd Bowley came in, he wanted to impress us. Obviously, he's gone a bit berserk with it. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time,
yours went wrong because you didn't listen to your manager and the people that are already running the club. The only way it goes wrong for us is if they come in and write and the manager says, look, my number ones are De Jong and Kane and Kim and Costa, and they go out there and just buy 4 or 5 different players completely because of their names. That's how it will go wrong. But yeah, listen, the Caicedo and the Rice situations, I reckon there's going to be some movement over this weekend with those deals. You know, I think some journalists are sitting on some stuff, and it'll be a massive improvement. This here says Fabrizio can tweet out, here we go, all he wants for Rice and Caicedo deals, but I'll believe it when Arsenal's social media account announces it. I get you. He was getting cooked on the Caicedo thing yesterday, Fabrizio, and I don't even know why. I know he got caught sliding into an OnlyFans girl's DM.
I don't know why people would write for that.
By the way, unless a guy, again, even if somebody's married, it's not illegal. But unless someone's married or got a girlfriend, if someone's single, I don't get the issue with them reaching out to a woman that they find attractive. I don't get what the L is. The L is you not having the confidence or ability or bag to do it. That's the L. Like that's the weirdest bit. That is the weirdest bit for me. 25% more pay for homegrown players in most countries. Oh, that's fair enough, Sam Lowe. Thank you very much. Gibbs White, 45 million, 90 million for Rice seems like they've missed a zero on it. Also, he's probably going to be the England captain in a few years as well. That is a premium. Plus, you want an England captain. England captains get away with murder. They do. They almost literally in some cases. But yeah. Official, thank you for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. Liverpool have got 6 Champions League. United have got 3. Keep the same energy.
Yeah, but we got more league titles.
Hey, there we go. I have an issue with Arsenal sign stars, not backups. They need to sign stars, not backups. You're absolutely right there, my friend. I think Arsenal need to do that. Viewers, make sure like buttons have been hit. Make sure you're subscribing. Question though, boys. Big question for you. Is the treble happening for only the second time? Is it going to happen for the second time in English football history this weekend when City take on Inter Milan? Look how stressed Mo looks.
Terry, I'm just praying that the City that turn up is the City that turn up against you guys.
Yes.
Then Inter are going to have have half a chance. If it's the City that I've been seeing against Liverpool this season, against Arsenal this season, then it's going to be a long day. But if City turn up the way they did last week, then I think that Inter Milan have got a chance. But
No,
even then, I think
that
they've
was
got
Man
too
United
many.
stopping them, bro. That's Inter have got to stop City and make them do that.
I agree with that to an extent, Terry. But like I said last week, there's a lot of players that didn't step up last week, man. KDB was poor. Bernardo Silva was poor.
Mark's out
Grealish.
the game. You're gonna get banned from the show if you keep slagging off our club, mate. I'm joking.
But no, man. Like for me, I just think that I've seen these players step up against top oppositions like Bayern Munich, Madrid this season. And last week, I'm not saying that you guys haven't got good players and you didn't nullify them, but these are top world class players on their day. So if that City turns up, then I think Inter Milan won't have a chance, in my opinion. There's always a chance, but I just think that is going to be too much because City have quality all over the pitch. So I'm just praying that the City that turn up is the City that showed up last week, not the City that I've been seeing towards the end of the season. In all honesty, but I still think City are going to get this. It's peak. It's peak, man. It's peak.
I don't think City have turned up away from the Etihad this year as much. And the last example is that game that they played against Man United, and that's what gives me hope. That all these blown away teams, Arsenal, Liverpool,
I'm with this.
Real Madrid, look, this is at the Etihad with the 60,000 or 40 and the 20 tourists behind them. This is what happens all the time. I think this Man City team will be surprised. And I didn't say it on this show. I've done like 55 previews in the last 3 days. And I keep saying that the only team that they faced is similar to Inter a little bit is Brentford. And they lost both games. They lost both games. It was 2 striker formation. Lukaku now is coming to form in the last month and a half. And Lautaro Martinez is scoring every game now. Maybe, I don't know. But yes, on paper, theoretically, they are favorites. But watching that United game gave me so much hope, to be honest, that I think Inter have a chance of winning the game. And I'm going to keep the same energy that I kept for Man United because they aren't playing at the Etihad. I said that Man United have a chance, and everybody that just says that they have no chance and it's just 3-4-0, maybe you watch different football. And maybe it can happen, but we cannot just sit here and take the easy choice and say, yes, City are going to win 5-0 for like what the people that did against Man United, and they were all wrong. If City doesn't score these wonder goals against Man United, where were the goals coming from? Someone explained to me, what did City create other than wonder goals from Gundogan? One chance that Haaland missed. And Man United had more XG than Man City. I don't see why people are saying 4-5-0. You don't watch Inter. You don't know how Brozovic play.
I'm joking.
We are in the Champions League final for a reason. You know what I mean? True. But to be honest, I'm being real. If you're gonna ask me to put money, I'm not promoting betting. I'm gonna bet on Man City, of course, because theoretically they are the best team in Europe at the moment. But I will back my club to make something happen because we have the players to make something happen. People don't watch Inter. People don't know that City are not expecting Inter to play the game that they are about to play. They haven't faced a team like Inter before. Like all this year, City have not faced a midfield like this trio in the midfield. I'm selling it to the people, and people are believing it. Oh my God!
I'm listening.
Oh my God!
I'm taking it in.
Hey, keep selling it, Mo. Keep. I'm loving this,
Mo,
man.
What
Carry
have you been taking today besides Weetabix? What are you on, bro? They've been up against better midfields and battered them.
Like who?
Away.
Real
like
Madrid.
Who? Tell me, like who?
Madrid are tired though, man.
Real Madrid aren't a better midfield.
They're not away. They're not away. They're not away. They're neutral. They're not away from home. They're neutral.
And they have been against Man United midfield, and they didn't even do anything against your
derby.
Midfield.
And they dominated the ball. They dominated their midfield. That's a derby game. And Man United, in my opinion, are better than Inter Milan. We'd beat you in a game as well.
And I'm just on hope. I'm literally. This is not logic. This is just feeling, man. It's going to be a cagey game. And it's going to be 1-0 Inter, and it's just going to achy breaky heart Chelsea situation. Yeah, man. Let's speak it into existence.
Again, can't speak into existence. Of course, every single thing leads towards a Manchester City win. Of course, like without question. Even Mo will tell you that. All we got is hope and prayers, people.
Let's just hope gets a red card, man.
All we've got is hope and prayers. Same way all I had for the FA Cup final was hope and prayers and hoping Manchester City had an off day, which they did against United, but we couldn't even take advantage of that. So that's all I'm hoping is that they have an off day against Inter Milan, and Inter Milan managed to find a way. I don't know, early red card, refereeing decision,
Penalty.
VAR, anything.
Let's just hope for a
Something,
dodgy
man.
decision from the referee.
Somebody
or something.
slips, somebody,
Yeah.
somebody does a Gerrard for City, something. That's all we've got.
Do you want to honestly?
That's it.
I'm so nervous of getting battered. It's unbelievable. I have no idea.
It's your turn, Mo.
Mo. We don't need. You're the Inter Milan representative. You're supposed to lie to us. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Lie.
You guys have no
I don't
idea.
care.
You guys have no
Lie.
idea.
And tell us what are you talking about, bro? The man just sat there and lied for 2 minutes doing his preview. He just
Lie
pure
more.
lies. He doesn't
Lie
believe
more,
any of
man.
that.
I
City,
love that.
City, you've never played a midfield as good as this one before. What?
Cool.
It's
Lie
crazy.
more. You know what I'm saying? I need
No, but to be honest with you, if City play the way they played against Madrid the first game, we will win the game. But
I'm
they aren't
hoping,
playing.
I'm hoping there's some what I'm gonna refer to as Megan magic.
Yep.
This is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that the scent, the aura, the whatever feeling Lukaku gets when he thinks about that stunningly beautiful woman helps him, and it makes him perform. I don't know if you boys have done this, but I used to do like my fighting back in the day. Every now and then, someone's sister would come to the gym, or a couple of girls would come in. Suddenly, your levels in training went up. They went up another level. If there was, I used to love it. They come into the room, and sometimes we were doing catters before, we'd be flipping and jumping higher, and you'd be in. I always remember my coach shouting at me one day, "Terry, you never normally work this hard." I was like, "Shut up, brother. There's women in here." That's what I'm hoping Lukaku does. I'm hoping he shows off, and I hope he looks like prime R9. You know how good he was away against Paris Saint-Germain in that famous night in Paris for Man United. I'm hoping that level Lukaku turns up, and Megan promises him the night of his life. And after that, if Lukaku turns up and does it, that man can change his accent every 5 minutes for all I care. He'll become a Man United legend. Man United legend. I'll buy his hip hop album. I'll do anything he wants. I'll do it. I heard him rap once. It weren't very good, but there we go. He did rap once. I'm not making that up. I swear he had a song once where he was rapping. I swear.
Maybe
I'll be here if we win the game. If you lose the game, it's a deactivation. Especially if we get battered. No, I think Inter have a chance. People are just like writing it off Inter. Like I think we have a chance.
Who would you say? Who would you say the players to watch, Mo?
For us, it's Brozovic, like he did last year against Liverpool. I think Brozovic is in my opinion, and maybe I'm biased, he's the best deep line playmaker in the world at this moment.
Rodri exists.
He isn't. It's not the same. Completely not the same. You just didn't watch. You don't watch. Listen, I'm gonna keep it same. I'm gonna keep the same energy, because if you're the best in your position, your national team coach wouldn't put you as a center back and keep Busquets to play in that position.
Man, Rodri's that good.
He plays for Pep Guardiola. Makes it easy to play football. Brozovic plays for Croatia and plays for Inter and still puts in performances. Rodri last year could not contain Liverpool midfield, but Brozovic played against Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp said, "I did not expect this level." We'll see. Listen, maybe again, I'm not saying I am not the guy. I'm not gonna sit here and speak on assumptions. I'm speaking on assumptions. I'm only speaking about what I see and what I see on the pitch. That I have players that won the Euros.
Sorry. So go continue. Sorry, my apologies.
I have players that won the Euros before, like Bastonia, Cherby, Darmian, Barella, and I have players that won the World Cup. The pressure is on City. Everything is against Man City in this game. Everything. Like the pressure is on them. Their coach is putting pressure on the players. The coach publicly keeps saying that if I don't win it with Messi, I'm not good enough. Sarcastically, yes. But the players are listening. Bernardo Silva, they are doing this as a retirement game for Bernardo Silva, Man City. What is the player thinking before going to a Champions League final, thinking this is my last game for Man City? Before he even played the game. Gundogan, agreeing terms.
Do you know what? Reason why? Listen, I want City to do a treble for obvious reasons, but I was listening to Talk Sport today, and Shay Given was like, yeah, if Pep wins his treble, he matches what Fergie's done. Like in terms of he matches up Fergie's Premier League achievements as a manager. And everyone was agreeing with it. And I'm sitting there, my blood was boiling. And some people always call me out and go, Terry, you care too much about history. Well, what are we fighting for every year if it isn't to create history? It doesn't make sense. It means if you don't care about your history, you shouldn't celebrate winning in the here and now, because that's literally what you're doing, is creating history. And I'm like, how can 5 Premier Leagues be as good as 13? How can 1 Champions League, in terms of being in your Premier League era, be better than 2. I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's like saying United getting 4 Champions League. You can spin it into a way of saying it's better than Liverpool's 6. It's crazy. And I think that's what, and this isn't really coming from too many City fans, but I am sick to my back teeth of them having been crowned a better treble than Man United before they've even done it. If they do it, it's amazing and I'll praise it. But the way it keeps getting spoken like it's happened before it's happened, there's something about it that's off key for me. And I hope Inter win. However, they're getting smashed. They're getting smashed. They're getting smashed.
Hey, Mo, that's a cue for you, Mo. That's the cue for you.
Three or four goals they're putting past you. You are honestly.
How are we getting smashed?
Yes, you are getting bent over and buggered, mate. Absolutely buggered.
Oh my God.
He's just playing. He's playing reverse psychology. Don't fall for
Mo
it.
can't even disagree, man. This ain't good. This ain't good.
Mo knows.
No, Mo.
2-1 Inter and we're 2-1 Inter and we're scoring 2 before them.
Okay, Lukaku off the bench to get the winner.
No. Lukaku's gonna start. We're gonna score 2 before
I would
them.
love it if Dzeko scores, man. I would love it. Rub it in their faces, man.
I'm saying 2 goals before them. So we're gonna be
2-0
up. We're gonna be 2-0 before they score the first goal.
And hopefully,
defensively, when I watched you guys against AC Milan, you were very good defensively. You're good on the transition as well. Is that how you usually are during the season? Because I haven't really watched much of your games.
It depends
in
on the
league.
game. It depends on the games. Like when we played against Fiorentina, we defended and let them have the ball and we just scored. Even after they scored. When we played against Atalanta, we attacked in the first minute, scored 2. And then against Milan, we just had 10 minutes good and we scored. It's a different Man City than every team. Listen, as much as I said City had not faced a team like Inter have not faced a team like City this year. Not this City. This City is the best. And I keep saying this. If we beat this Man City team, this is the best team I've watched in modern history ever. This last 2 months, not this season, this last 2 months. They have so many weapons. I think if Inter beat them, they have to be in their best game. And I'm assuming that both teams will be in their best game. But City's best game, if they play away from the Etihad, even in a neutral place, they tried against United. People want to say City were not on their game. Whatever makes you sleep at night. I'm going to tell City fans, whatever makes you sleep at night. Exactly. People look at them and say, but we weren't the best at Man United. Why not give Man United credit that they stopped Man City from doing what they want to do? But people just want to say that to themselves, so they're not overthinking about the games. I'm less looking at.
Do you think City were at their best last week though against United? Do you think they were at
what
their
does
best?
that mean? What does that mean?
You've seen City at their best.
Anything.
You've seen City at their best. There's more than enough.
What's at their best? Yes,
there's
tell me.
more. This season, I can tell you, Liverpool when they played Liverpool at the Etihad.
What about Liverpool when they lost 1-0 when they had all the ball? What about Man United when they lost 2-1 when they had all the ball and Man United pressed them? Okay, why you're picking only the games? Why you're picking only the games that matches your narrative? What about Real Madrid?
Because I'm talking about recently.
What about Real Madrid? Have you ever seen Pep Guardiola drop deep with conceding a goal? They conceded a goal against Real Madrid and then they dropped deep, fearing the second goal. I've never seen Pep. Credit to him for doing it, but I've never seen Pep change the way he plays. You are picking the only games that City were fantastic. Bayern Munich 3-0. Remember, the first 20 minutes against Bayern Munich, they conceded more chances. And if it wasn't for Ederson, they would have been 1-0 down.
But why would that hold on? But that doesn't make any sense, Mo. Why would I talk about the games where they haven't been great when I'm giving you examples of games when they've been a different level? We're talking about
the same Man City team. Who says you're telling me that they're gonna be the same City team that played Real Madrid at the Etihad?
What about your team?
No.
Exactly.
The point that I'm making is that when we saw them play against United, that wasn't the City that we've seen a lot towards the end of the season, is the point that I'm making. And there's more than enough examples, more than enough games that I can talk to you about where we've seen City just blowing teams away, teams away.
Sorry to interject though, and they have been brilliant in other games. But why can't so whenever they've not blown teams away, you're putting it down to them not turning up as opposed to crediting a team for stopping them. So I suppose what Mo's saying is, why can't Inter be a team that stops? Because and that's the point. I suppose it's we do this with goalkeepers. Our goalie makes a great save and we go, oh, world-class save. When it's your striker, you say, should have scored. It's almost, but it's the same situation. Is it that we're looking at this from City only lose games when they play badly? Are we not going to credit a team for stopping City?
No. You can. It. The thing is, two things can be right at once because you can give credit to United for how they played, and I can still criticize a player's performance. When I'm looking at him on the ball, what does he usually do that he's not doing in this game? KDB, when he's whipping it in, are his crosses as accurate as what he's normally doing week by week? Bernardo Silva, is he beating more players than what he usually does week by week? I can criticize a player and I can talk about their individual performance and still give credit to a different team. That's not the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is that we've seen Man City play a lot better than what they did last week. So I'm praying and hoping that the team that goes into the game tomorrow against you guys, Mo, is the City that we saw last week. Because if it's the City that I saw towards the end of the season, then I'm sorry, man. It's gonna be a free fall, like Terry said. But if it's like last week, then I think you've got more of a chance, in my opinion. Because I've seen City play better than that. And it's not taking anything away from United. I'm just talking about individual performances.
Can you give me one game where City played away from the Etihad where they were absolutely fantastic, other than the Everton game, which is
This is what I'm
Everton
talking
just
about, Mo,
shitty.
man. This is what is needed. That's a great question.
In the league. Ask me that question again.
Anywhere.
Any game,
anywhere.
any game, just any game.
I mean, they're pretty good. Right?
Bayern Munich was good.
Nil.
When they played, what team was that they played in the Champions League? Was it Leipzig? Not Leipzig.
No,
Sorry.
it was
Yeah, it was
1-1.
Leipzig.
1-1.
Mo, I like Mo.
Mo's ready.
You've got something, Mo. You've got.
Mo's
I
saying,
like
Mo's turning around today, and he's basically he's saying, "Everyone get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out
Arsenal.
of here!"
Arsenal at the Emirates.
At home. That was in the
home.
beginning.
Oh, at the Etihad. Yeah, they were good. They were good against Arsenal. They blew Arsenal away. If anything.
When was that though? When was the Arsenal game at the Emirates?
Sorry, not at the Emirates.
That was February.
No,
And after that, they went.
Yeah.
After that, they went and drew 2 games in a row. So that
we are specifically away from the
we are
Etihad.
talking about the
specifically away from Etihad. Okay.
If we look at the Champions
also,
League, I've got them here. Champions League, first game of the season, they won 4-0 away at Sevilla, so that was really good. The next away game was Copenhagen 0-0. The next away game was Dortmund 0-0. The next away game was Leipzig 1-1. Then away to Bayern Munich 1-1. Then away to Real Madrid 1-1. So they smashed Sevilla, but every other away game in the Champions League has been a draw.
Against Leipzig, they were good. They were wasteful. I remember that game because I watched that game.
Now,
they were very wasteful.
Premier League away from home, 2-0 against West Ham. I don't know how good they were. They drew 1, 2, 3, 4 games and lost 4. So they didn't win 8 away games in the Premier League this year. That was all against the top teams. So that's a stat. But the only team I think they battered away from home was Arsenal, and they were better than Arsenal on that day.
And Everton 3-0.
Yeah, but Everton is shit. You can't really look at
Exactly.
that.
See, again, it's Fulham.
You
remember Fulham 2-1.
So Mo, let's just round this up with. So what's your score prediction? If you say 3-0 City, I'm going to headbutt you through the camera.
2-1 Inter.
Okay.
2-1 Inter.
2-1 Inter. What you going with, Donny boy?
I remember you, the 4-0 against City. We remember you.
Yeah. No.
We remember you. We remember you.
I've learned.
You sat here. Yes.
So don't worry. Boy. I'm gonna say 3-1 City. 3-1 City. 3-1 City.
Flawless.
I'm gonna go with Mo 2-1 in the Milan.
Praying into existence there. And you already said 2-1 Milan, didn't you, Kaz?
Nah, 1-0.
1-0.
I don't care how it's done. Own goal, dodgy. I hope it's a referee decision just to piss Daps off. Just something.
But City struggling away from home in Europe is why I'm going with Inter Milan. I like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I think it's great, but I'm going with 4-0 City. 4-0 City. I'm preparing myself not only for them to do the treble, for them to do it in style. I have to do. It'll be the most horrible match reaction I've ever had to do in my life. It will actually feel worse to me than the 7-0, but we'll have to do it. There we go. That's my score prediction. Viewers, I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in. Actually, we've got some super chats here. I missed them all. Sorry. This one says this Inter is better than the 05 Liverpool, and that AC Milan team is better than this City side. To me, I have a good feeling Inter will stun City. Let's go. It's a great point. I like that.
I like this.
I think Inter has a chance, but it's City. I say 2-1 City. Kaz, just know if Man City wins, Daps is going to be unbearable and you'll never hear the end of it.
What do you mean? I'm going to my mum's, mate.
Man's moving out. The game has to be Martinez's redemption for the World Cup. Man won the well, yeah. They weren't good, but there we go. If City wins this, Terry, you've got to get the Glazers out. I've done everything I can. I pulled all the money away. It's the only way. It's the only way. But not much more I can do. Kaz don't even know what he just did. That's why Terry's mad. He predicted it. City treble. This will be on you, my guy.
I
won't be blaming Kaz. I'll be blaming the Glazers personally.
Jinx, he's talking about the jinx, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be a great game. Can't wait for it. City are just going to demolish them, is what Oliver says here.
This is negative, not.
Yeah, he's probably a City's fan, though.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. I can't wait for it. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Sorry, we've already done that one there, but there we go. Thank you for all the super chats, people. I really do appreciate them a lot. Hit the like button before you leave. Make sure you subscribe. Back tomorrow with more content. I don't know if I'm around in the morning. I'm taking my little boy to his first football training session tomorrow. He's very excited. Got the boots for him today. The only pair his size, though, nothing good brand. What's it begins with S? What's it called? Sondico.
Sondico.
They're the only ones that do mini size. So I was like, that's what you got to have for now, son. No predators.
Sondico. They're gonna rip after two performances.
In fairness, he's only 3. So like he's 3-year-old. Like it's not proper football. Do you know what I mean? He's baby. You know what I'm saying? He's a baby. Better than he probably is, hopefully. Boys, thank you all very, very much as ever. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all.